they were talking about.
Well,
This is a shameful performance that you're putting on right now.
Slacks,
This
Slacks.
is completely rigged.
Slacks, tell them. Tell
Cap,
them.
I think I know why you don't have anything in game in the wheel there. You friggin' suck.
He's taking you.
Slacks, don't make me come up there.
That's okay, Toby. That was less creative than your Tinder profile, buddy. That was pretty.
Oh!
You know you swiped me right.
I
Oh,
always
there you go. Oh my God. Getting personal.
Sorry about that.
Toby, Cap, you guys still have that instant replay that you can basically save a little bit from. So there you go.
I think we have to use it on this one. Well.
All right, here we go. You
The
can...
issue of going first, but we don't need it in the. We won't need it later. It's fine. Pull it up. Yeah. Ice. Look at that slow motion. Points to Black. He's like, yes, he's my lover. You dirty fuck, Black. How dare you dance with the devil? Oh, you don't. You don't.
All right, there you have it. Give it up for Toby and Cap for the first round.
There you go.
Now, Toby, I gave a chance for you guys to give. They wanted to go into this spontaneously and bravely, and they did.
They did.
So that was brave. Give them props for that. Come on, give them props. But now, LD and Gods know the actual length and rhythm of these scenarios. LD, Gods, do you feel good about the strat going about this? How do you guys feel good about that?
I feel great. Did you hear that?
You feel what?
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Cass?
Cap was like, what
Where
was
was the energy?
Oh my God, there was
There's a
not-
reason why I have 3 lines on the chat wheel, Ari.
Oh!
Come on.
Oh my God.
Blows.
Get on my level.
All right, so you get to choose. You get to choose the scenario, LD Gods. Here we go, we're gonna flash it up. Of course, Ice and Fire was just picked, so that is out. We have Mitter Feed, Spirit Breaker, or Last Pick.
Well, I have to say, I do have a soft spot in my heart for the number 4.
Last Pick.
Last pick.
But you want number 3. We'll save the best for last.
Best for last, if they'll oblige us. We'll go with number 3, Spirit Breaker.
Spirit Breaker, oh my God. So this is exactly what you're going to be casting. You are going to be casting Slacks running and tripping on towards the panel.
I love paneling. It was
All right.
exciting.
Again, remember the rhythm. It's very, very quick, okay? That is basically the same length of time. LD and Gods will be casting Slacks tripping while he's charging towards the panel. LD, Gods, are you guys ready?
Ready.
Yeah.
All right, here is the first round for LD and God. Spirit Breaker in 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Charging in, he's gonna need a good initiation. He surges forward. Will he find the jump? Oh no! Flex! Flex! What were you thinking?
Denied at the last second. That was brutal to see LD.
He tries to save it, but nobody's fooled, Gods.
Does not stick the landing one bit.
Classic Slacks, really. You know, he's just not a clutch player. You need that big play, the right angle of initiation, he comes up flat.
He's wishing he put the left shoe on the left foot in the morning. It was a rookie mistake.
And maybe put a pair of jeans in the wardrobe while you're at it. Let's take another look
Yes,
at the tape
absolutely.
and break down for me exactly where this charge fell apart.
What I really like to look is this is a man with hope, ambition. He has a future. He sees his goals, his visions, and then tragedy strikes.
Too much smiling for me, you know? He's a little over-enthusiastic, a little impatient on the big stage, perhaps a bit too big for his britches.
You can really see the moment there where the smile breaks, his soul shatters. This is a broken man.
Just like his studio.
LD and Gods
But we
win
love-
their
we love them
first
anyway.
round. Nicely done. LD, Gods, thank you. That was the first round. How do you guys feel about how you guys did?
I mean, contest is over, right?
All right. But Toby and Cap will have a chance to redeem themselves and get onto rhythm. Let's see. Look at the dance, LD. That's a victory dance.
Oh, watch out on those stairs.
Oh,
Careful.
here we go.
Listen, listen, judges. We all know this contest is rigged, but I'm sorry. Toby and I, we're casters of substance, okay? We know how to actually apply hype in the right scenarios.
And we know that Slacks has no substance.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And Toby and I don't know how to phone it in like LD. Wow!
Good job, buddy. Good job. That's what I'm after right
Getting the trash talk,
I
trying
love
to
that
get in the
trash talk.
heads
Good.
of
Destroy them.
LD and Gods. Okay. Toby, Cap, you can choose your remaining scenarios.
No. We're not going to choose.
Okay.
The judges are going to choose for us. You go ahead. Give us the clip. If you're going to rig it again, might as well just be straightforward with
We'll
it.
give. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Give him a good one, buddy.
All right.
They
Here
need
we
some
go.
pity points. Please.
All right.
Give
Here
them
we
something
go.
okay.
We're going to give you guys mid or feed.
Okay,
The
there we
first
go.
one. All right.
Yeah.
Basically, okay. Toby, Cap, you are going to be hyping someone just engorging into a burger and just having fun eating it. All right. This is a man who just loves and is hungry, obviously, and you're gonna hype the moments of him eating this burger. Are you guys ready?
We were born ready.
Oh, they're born ready. Here we go. Toby and Cap.
Toby, you were supposed to say something encouraging there.
Please, Toby doesn't need any encouragement, all right? This is the original hype man of Dota. One of the original hype casters of esports, period. He is a living legend.
Getting the crowd
Get
behind them.
Bring it.
Get
Here
it,
we
Toby.
go. Toby and Cap, here is your scenario. Guy eating burger. In 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
I want to see the mouth on this guy. I want to see the absolute deliciousness.
My God, look at that burger. It's a huge one, too. I'm not sure if I can actually swallow that
There's
thing.
no teeth being used right now.
Dear
It
God,
is
he's
all
just
about
got
it.
it.
Full
God.
mouth penetration.
Dear
Coming
God,
out
he
now.
rips it apart.
I'm surprised that wrapper isn't halfway down his esophagus by now.
Dear God, can he finish it all? The last pieces you
I don't know.
this.
Look, he's throwing the head back. Just don't chew. Eat it like a snake.
Jesus Christ, this man can eat a burger like nothing I've ever seen before.
The crazy thing is there's still something left behind. You ain't done yet.
Swallow it! Swallow it! Swallow it! Swallow it! Oh!
It's not down yet. That can still come back up again.
Oh my God!
Yeah!
I have never seen a burger swallowed like that before, Toby.
You know what it is? It's a local cuisine. You remember it last time you were here, it was all over a bucket. That was below.
Toby, you're a man who knows his burgers. Could you eat something like that? Could you engorge that thing in just 3 measly bites?
I would need one.
Damn. Damn.
That's why he's the legend. That's why.
Ah!
Let's see that again, please.
See it again.
Toby, as a man who knows his burgers.
Wait.
What is this? What, are we rigging it again?
LD, what are you doing?
Come on!
LG, get your hands.
There you go. Okay,
Where we
we're
can
good.
see them.
Thank
You
you,
know,
LD.
we thought K-pop Poses was retired. I'm fairly certain he's out the back there monitoring it all.
All right, let's get back to our burger. Look at him, like full mouth. He doesn't even try and disguise what he's doing. He is open for the world to see. I am chewing on this thing.
You know, the only thing that would have made that better was a little bit of saucy action.
Oh!
Toby and Cap, ladies and gentlemen, coming back
They brought
strong.
it back! Game 2, baby!
Backing it up. It is a fist fight. It is a slugfest, Slacks.
It's disgusting!
Oh,
These
that's
people
right.
have no shame! They have nothing to lose!
That's right. Are you talking about the guy chewing with his mouth open or the cast?
The whole thing!
The
I
whole-
mean, the
I
whole
got
thing
it.
is shameful.
I got it. All right. So, Toby and Cap has definitely stepped it up.
They're
the
back.
crowd will decide after this round who is the better duo. LD and Gods, they caught up. You have one final scenario, which we're going to be showing to the screen. Here we go. All right, they're ready. They're
I
ready.
just want to say, for the record, that was a hot dog, not a hamburger.
Excuse me?
That was a hot dog.
I will judge what kind of meat that was!
Typical Join Dota accuracy.
You're trying to say, LD. You're trying to say...
We are all about the accurate facts here, Ari.
You're trying to say
Accurate.
that you're trying to say that Toby and Cap don't know the difference between a hamburger and a hot dog.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
All right. Final round. Let's show them what you have. Last pick. Basically, this is a guy about to pick his nose. All right.
All right. That's hype.
And they're gonna be hyping that.
We all been there.
LD and Gods for the final round of the hype off. We will find out who is the winner after this in 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Waiting in the wings, rubbing his hands, he gets ready. Look for the scoop. He's flanking from the south. When will he make his move? Time's running short. Get ready for it. They're about to be caught. The nostrils are in danger. Almost got it. He did it. The absolute madman.
The balls! Thinks he's off camera, goes in for the last minute scoop.
He thought it was a quick pick. It was not. It was not.
Damn.
I think they've been caught picking their noses before by that reaction, I just want to say. It's okay, we all do it. Some of us are less ashamed than others.
Some of us are more subtle than others.
All right, cue the replay. I want a detailed analysis of the technique and the timing here, because this was the nose deciding pick.
The key thing is the subtlety. This guy thinks he's got notice. He's going in such a bold play, doing so when he's on camera. He's completely aware of what's going on, yet still goes in for an LD.
This is where you just want to scream, Ubos Yan! Woo!
Oh, man.
Destroy those boogers.
All right, there you have it. Give it up for LD and Gods. Let's make their way to the stage. Round of applause for both our duos.
There we go. LD, you gotta calm down, dude. This isn't an Overwatch
Nicely
match.
done.
Take it easy, bro.
All right, here we go. So, Toby, Cap, nicely done. You came back on the third round very, very strong. LD and Gods, of course, being consistent with the 2 rounds. But we're gonna find out which duo did the crowd enjoy the most. All right? Is it Toby and Cap?
Swallow it! Swallow it! Swallow it! Swallow it!
I will take that back. I made a bad decision.
Okay.
There we go.
Or is it LD and Gods?
Oh. Oh, come on.
It's rigged! I'm sorry, LD. You said we didn't know the difference between a hamburger and a hot dog? I'll show you a hot dog tonight, baby.
I need security.
One more time if you want Toby and Cap. The winners of the hype off, according to the crowd, we have Toby and Cap. Make some noise for them. Look at the happiness. LD and Gods, nicely done, nicely done. All right, and we have something, of course, for our winners. Yes, we have the jackets. That's right, here we go. You guys are the official Hype Off champions. Why don't you put that on, sir? There you go. The official Hype Off champions, Toby and Cap. This is your trophies that you can enjoy. You can practice, you can do this.
There you go.
Look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, your Hype Off champions displaying to their opponents. There you have it. Thank you so much to our casters. Slacks, thank you very much.
Hey, you know,
thank
second
you guys.
place. You guys
All
still
right.
got hot dogged. That was good. Don't worry about it. Sorry about that.
All right, up next, we have the final match of tonight. We have Faceless versus NP right
hell yeah.
after the break.
You got the skills and the knowledge. You even know your way with your game. Yet, you ought to fall. you fail. So what? Stop the drama. Don't give up just yet. Get up and do what you gotta do. If you're saying you gave your best, show it to the world. Prove it to yourself. They say tough times never last. But remember, tough people do. Now go out there. Unleash that inner beast. Surprise everyone with your capabilities. And whenever greeted with failure, face it fiercely. Stand firm and say to yourself, one more try.
I'll see you in 3 months, hon. The kids, they're gonna be okay. Love you.
Dad! Need help?
Okay. Can you pass me the back wrench, please?
Here you go, Dad.
Here, Ratchet.
Here.
Impact wrench.
Here, Dad.
How did you?
Look, Dad, we got you! You're live!
Our connection's now made even stronger. PLDT Home Fiber. Plan start at 1899.
Thank you. Have a good one. Sweetie, you can't let her in. Bring Princess back outside, please.
Okay, Mom.
Hey buddy, time for homework. Playtime is over.
Okie dokie.
Don't go too far, sweetie.
Never lose sight of what's important to you. Watch over your family at home, online, and on the move. Get added peace of mind with fiber, home's most powerful broadband.
We are here for our final game for day 2 of the Manila Masters. Are we ready? Let's introduce the first team. NP! Ayo picking up something. We'll get it later. Here you go. Team NP! And they will be facing they just beat the 4-time major champions. Moving on to this round, Faceless! Our final round of day 2 of the Manila Masters. Team NP versus Team Faceless. Make some noise.
That's right, NP versus Faceless is going to be our last series of the day. Which one of these two teams is going to be moving on to the final day to face up against Evil Geniuses? I freshen up the panel. I now have Trent and Luminous, two of the best analysts I could possibly ask for to break down this series. Gentlemen, bring it to me. What do you got?
I feel like you used like all your abundance of salt and anger way over on that
I am
side.
a relaxed man.
Yeah, suddenly, wow, this is great. That's like the nicest thing you've ever said to me. I'm feeling really good about this series. I'm sure Faceless probably are as well, right? Coming off a big win, very impressive stuff. A lot of us were back there kind of fixed on this game, just like, wow, Faceless, they look pretty damn good right now.
Luminous, did you expect Faceless to actually be here in this final series?
Well, traditionally they struggle against Clutch Gamers, so I didn't think they would make it past them, but to make it past Clutch Gamers, to beat OG in a very tight best-of-3, I think they've proven themselves to be one of the strong contenders in this tournament. And I think they have in common with MPs that a lot of teams did not have them on their radar coming in. And I think that's, well, their mistake, because now they are very, very close to the final day.
Yeah, surely any team that can beat a 4-time major champion is a team that can beat anybody at this tournament, right?
Sure. Yeah, and speaking of off the radar, I mean, these guys are off their positions. They're on whole new things right now, right? No one expected the IO coming into this. That was a massive help for them in the beginning of the tournament.
And we've seen immediately following that, the Wisp turned into a first 1-2 ban, which opens up a lot of other things for Faceless. But on the other side, we have NP. They've been kind of like a lower bracket juggernaut, I feel like. They've had tough teams to face up against: Secret, Invictus Gaming, now Faceless. Surely before this tournament actually started, you would have said all those other names that I just listed were actually the better team than Faceless. NP has to be getting some serious momentum rolling here.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, I'm sure they're also, they don't have that whole, like, yeah, we just won the series, we're feeling really great, but they do have the, hey, we're not playing OG. So I would take that. That's a pretty good trade.
I think, apart from Newbie, NP is a team that's playing the best in this tournament. Like, doesn't matter they're currently in the lower bracket. Obviously, they got knocked down here in the first place, but in terms of just judging from their games and judging from the play, I think I would rank them number 2 right behind Newbie. And Newbie's in the grand final already. It would not surprise me if NP make it there.
We talked about just like draft mix-up and everything like that too when we were watching the NP games, because I feel like both of those wins, a lot of that provided by the versatility of the Clockwork, which of course we've seen plenty of offlane in position for Clockworks, and that was pretty great. But then leading that into a Brewmaster, very surprising in the 4 role, and in game 1 they used that early Bat Rider pick, threw that in the support, got themselves an Enigma that really helped them close out that first game against IG.
It certainly seems like both teams are bringing a twist to this whole entire tournament. Faceless switching roles, NP grabbing some not so traditional heroes. In fact, we even talked to Eternal Envy earlier, and he says, that's kind of what we like to do. We like to be able to have that extra drop in the draft that gives us a surprise advantage.
Yeah, I think that's arguably perhaps one of Faceless' weakness when they go to these international tournaments. Some people say that they're predictable, they are being figured out, but like as Trim pointed out, they have a lot bigger of a hero pool coming in. The IO being one of them, and the Night Stalker coming out from time to time. And I think game 2 of last series against OG, when we were watching the game backstage, we were like, oh my god, this is looking really bad. And then they picked out the last pick Anti-Mage, and suddenly it was like, oh, this is something very good. Anti-Mage was an awesome last pick from the drafting side of Faceless. So yeah, they will be coming out with the bang. They will be coming out with a surprise. I feel like MP has been winning a lot of the games through the draft alone. And I feel like Faceless here will give them a pretty equal draft, and it might actually come down to the play itself.
Definitely, I would say they had 2 big wins in that final pick, just like yesterday against Clutch Gamers. That final pick in the OD, that game just felt like it was over. We got 5 minutes and we're like, okay, that OD just completely made this easy. So,
who's the MVP for Faceless, would you say, at this point?
I'm gonna go with Jabs, I think, myself, just because although I think a lot of the players are doing exceptionally well, Jabs now back onto an older role. He's the guy who's now giving them first ban on the IO, which is great, and played very well in the Sand King particularly, just in that last game.
I gotta agree with him. Lumi, you got somebody else though?
I'm gonna go with the birthday boy Black himself, because I mean, even in the game that they lost against EG, that Shadow Fiend, that when I looked at the replay, that net worth bar was like an Alchemist net worth bar. It was just like double the size of the next one closest. So I like him in the mid position. It's been a fresh look. Now, I'm not sure whether they could keep going back to the Clock Shadow Fiend combination that they've been using so many times, because that could get figured out. We saw, I believe, OG in game 1 of the series, they just like, okay, I'm going to gank Shadow Fiend mid, level 1. And now you lose half your soul. Suddenly that combination gets a lot weaker in that position. So I think they definitely need to keep rotating the heroes, make things fresh, but I'm going to look to Black to put his team on his shoulder and go the distance.
All right, what about our offlaners? Because I feel like personally I have an attachment to these two. I look at Ice, I look at MSS, and I feel like they're some of the best in the business. How do you think those two really clash?
I think Ice in particular is someone who, like, in his heyday, of course. I'd say it's been a while since he's been the big man on campuses. I mean, the crowd would disagree, I'm sure, with me here, but he was a guy who was considered, like, in that echelon of, like, the greatest players, like, currently playing Dota 2. And just being relegated to different teams, moving himself around, he's not quite in the same spot anymore. Whereas MSS, he's more of that, like, up-and-comer, like, finally maybe getting that respect he deserves. I mean, our panelists talked about him quite a bit little bit of the MSS love certainly being thrown from over here, but how can you? He just looks so good.
I think it really comes down to whether it's a 3v1 situation or a 1v1 situation, and I depending on how it goes. We saw MSS was able to get solo kills on his Clockwork against a dual lane. That is hard to pull off. As a Clock player, you should know. And I think if it's a 3v1 situation, MSS might have the edge right now. But when it's a 1v1 situation, I would put my money on Ice. We saw the matchup yesterday when he was playing Sand King, and he was just decimating his opponent. So I think more from the off-lane position, it comes down to the laning situation.
All right, and setting up that laning phase, we talked about the Clockwork SF as a combination that Faceless like to run. We also have the Wisp that's in there. Are those going to be your 1-2 bans, perhaps, for Team NP, or you have something else?
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting question, because we have the Enchantress, right? Everyone's been first phase banning it against NP. Is this the time where someone finally says, okay, like, let me see it? I don't know. We have so many other things that we're dealing with. They've been showing so many other heroes. Is it finally time to just let that thing through and see if you can handle it? And likewise, that Spirit Breaker, too. It's been taken out now ever since they used against Clutch Gamers. I'm not sure if NP are going to give it the same respect. I could see that being played here by Nuts or Jabs in one of our games.
How has people not banned out the Treant Protector played by a TI champion?
I don't know, Lumi. I feel like Treant Protector has got to be that hero that you just automatically banned. He seems too strong right now.
Right. I mean, there's me saying that, and maybe like Jackie Mouse thinking in the background, yeah, I want you to ban Treant Protector so I could pick something else. I mean, they brought out the Brewmaster in that last game that they played, so who knows what the Madman is thinking about. But I want to say just make them beat you with something else. He's been awesome on the Treant, so make Aoi play something else.
What about that Bat Rider? That's the most picked hero for Team NP so far in this tournament. Any respect there?
I would say so. I would be fine with banning that, honestly, in the first phase. If they're willing to throw it into the support, like, whenever there's the Bat Rider there, you have to concern yourself with how that matchup's going to go with your safe lane carry. We start looking towards Lifestealers or Juggernauts or Slarks or someone to deal with that Napalm. And then maybe you do draft around that. You put this plan together, and suddenly Pilot Eye's playing it. You're like, oh, great. You know, now we got Mojo running at us at a different hero. So the 5 heroes, that'll be our first target here. A little interesting from NP. We talked about the Warlock, the Crystal Maiden, two of the big powerhouses of the role. We're going to lose the Precious Maiden already.
Yeah, and she was seen as a frequent partner with the Clockwork and Sinking.
Certainly enables those other position forwards to kind of come back in. Especially with like Shrines being gone now too. She's that lovely little mana that's oh so precious at the start of the game.
Yeah, especially for support Kunkka, for example, you gank around, you throw out 2 torrents, and you're like, okay, well, I gotta make the walk of shame. But with Crystal Maiden, you get to play a lot more. And it looks like Team Faceless does take out the Treant Protector. And we're going to see a new, different drafting strategy from MP. Because they've been first phasing picking the Treant pretty much every single time.
Yeah. I'm going to pose one more hero to you before we get into our actual picking phase. Bristleback, on both sides.
Yeah, respectable hero. I think another one maybe to be concerned about from the SEA region, perhaps the Omni Knight. Scary hero. Saw in the Clutch Gamers matchup. Any of those sustain offlaners, something that we haven't seen too much from in this tournament from these teams. In fact, we've been playing much more of the active ones, much more of the actual control coming from that hero. We get our Black Holes, we get our Lassos, we get our Daryls.
I wouldn't say Omni Knight or, Omni Knight in particular isn't really MSS or Ice playstyle. I mean, I'm sure they could do great on the hero, but they don't really look to that type of hero as their offlane pick. But IO does get taken out as expected, and now we are going to see the first pick from MP.
5 seconds remaining.
There is still that Warlock out there from the 5 position, but the Enchantress is instead first pick for NP.
Time to see what this thing's all about. Everyone's banning it. Face is like, all right, why? Let's figure it out. So I'm sure they have a plan, of course. Maybe think about those heavier magic damage heroes, cores. Trying to handle that in the early rotations, too. We had our earlier Enchantress played today. Didn't go all too well, especially near the beginning of the game, it felt
I believe Jabs was actually playing it.
Yeah, so they should kind of know the weaknesses of this hero, perhaps.
I would say that Enchantress fits, to me, in my opinion, Aoi's playstyle. We know he's extremely aggressive when it comes to roaming. We've seen him do a lot as Stream Protector. And we also know that he can be greedy and transition into a core. I think Enchantress fits the bill. You get the early game roam, you get the Aghanims later to pack out the punch. So perhaps that is the reason why that a lot of teams are banning out against Enchantress, and we'll see what he's going to bring to the table.
A little bit of a Hudanda Witch Doctor for Nuts. That is his hero, right? You could say AUI, his hero is Enchantress. Surely, when it comes to Nuts, Witch Doctor is the perfect thing.
Yeah, great up against the Enchantress. We're going to have that cask bouncing around on those creeps. It's always good to have the Witch Doctor when you have these people that just want to like dive your tower at the start of the game. You get Night Stalkers or Spirit Breakers, and they usually have a partner with them, and suddenly you just bash them both under the tower, and they're in deep trouble.
I also think that he's a very flexible support pick because he is, with the skill set, very equipped to deal against aggressive tri-lanes, or if you want to go aggressive yourself. Between the choice of Maledict and Voodoo Restoration, you could actually do pretty well with your laning situation. And now we're going to see a Pudge here. Now, if this is 3-4 months ago, I would be all hyped for the Black Pudge, but as of late, I think Black is going to be sticking to the mid lane and playing more of a core.
That would be one major shakeup if we had yet another role change in the space of a week or so. I like the Witch Doctor in particular against the Enchanters, right? Get those creeps coming in.
Sure.
Honestly, it's, I don't know, I'm almost kind of feeling the Black Pudge, perhaps. You know, they've just swapped up anyway. It is Jabs who could just swap right back, perhaps, onto the mid lane, too. So we'll have to see. And I'm sure Jabs is, of course, a very capable Pudge player. But either way, we are getting that kind of awkward 4 roles, these newbies who we love to see. And Pudge already been pretty successful here today.
You think when they were watching OG,
yeah,
with that Pudge and what all that Jarex is able to accomplish, they're like, oh, maybe we should take that.
Setting up Anna so much as well, so perhaps Invoker Sunstrikes to come, or at least some sort of a mobile aggressive hero, your Ember Spirits.
The best kind of Pudge game is one where it's really chaotic. You take a lot of fights in rivers and jungles where you get a lot of quick kills. And I think the Arc Warden pick in that game really facilitated that pace But with Enchantress on the other side, I imagine there's going to be a lot of roaming and backstabbing when it comes to the early game gank. So,
Yeah, Pudge specifically was quite a wrench in this poor Enchantress's side, and she really wasn't able to play that with that early aggression that she'd like to, just in case of being caught up by the Pudge.
And I have to say that now in the new patch where the Creequilibrium is much closer to the tower for the offlaners, you can see Enchantress making a much easier wraparound behind the tower, which is, I think, a lot of power behind Chen and Enchantress with these early kind of rotations. So I'm going to look to Aoi pick up an early Smoke of Deceit and make that exact play.
And when we're talking about those early rotations, I mean, Enchantress Batrider, back when Slardar was also a pretty popular offlane hero, we see those two combinations quite a bit. She just shows up in the offlane, a lot of early controls. You know, you have to play around Napalm the entire time in the lane, but it's inevitable that occasionally you're going to get a couple stacks on you. You just don't know when the deer is going to be there. She comes out of the tree line, starts attacking you. So a Weaver, an extremely survivable hero, and something that Team Faceless have already been playing today. Although it was a little sketch. I mean, there was certainly some problems for XY in the last game before they took it to the victory. And he's still going to give that respect over, perhaps banning out similar like early game, difficult to pressure heroes in the safe lane.
Yeah, they definitely want to make sure that Enchantress convert into kills, and then Weaver is probably one of the hardest ones. You have to find the right creep, being the Dark Troll summoner, or else you're not going to be able to find an easy kill on the Weaver. Are there any other kind of offlaners that you think will be more resistant to a gank like this? Maybe the Ice Abaddon that did you pick from time to time?
Yeah, the Void too is
yeah,
also a potential one.
Quite good.
Been pretty good today. You have the Witch Doctor, but again, still, although he was picked up, that was of course in the core role. We did see a little bit from Universe in the off lane. Could make a comeback, but he's got his own cooldown things to try and worry about. We'll get the standard classic anti-Batrider hero and the Juggernaut now removed. So nothing too easy for Faceless here.
Are there any other self-sufficient cores that are left for Faceless to take against this, or do they try and go for a different strategy? Can they aggro tri-lane and do as you suggested, Luminous, and try and run maybe some sort of off-laner that's self-sufficient like the Abaddon?
I think when you think about aggro tri-lane, you want to make sure your 1v1's good, and right now there's not enough core heroes picked to actually know about that. So they're gonna go with Nyx, which is, I think Ice is one of the best heroes when it comes to dictating the mid-game tempo. In terms of resisting the early game gank against Enchantress, I think that might be a little bit difficult, but it really comes down to positioning. Maybe he'll pick up a quick boots to kind of solve the situation.
Yeah, there were several months where this was every single game first ban immediately up against Faceless because Ice was just playing it too well. I think it's interesting too that the Sand King was kind of left, and then that could have given them some of those 1v1 matchup situations, but against the Batrider and against the Enchantress with that magic damage, certainly a bit more helpful to have the Nyx Assassin here. And a little bit of the same role in the Pudge and the Nyx, so you're kind of feeling a little bit of pressure maybe for Faceless to try and get some kills in the early game, or you already have this Batrider who can farm up quite a bit if he's left alone. So NP have this decision now in terms of like, how are we judging their aggression? Where is Faceless going to go? Can we be a little bit greedier like we've already seen today in terms of that support Batrider? Because we don't even know if this is going to end up being... I would hope that we're not going to have support Batrider and Enchantress, but you never know.
I mean, Enchantress could do the stacks, back and take it later. You know?
It's genius. We're figuring out one step at a time here.
Is what I like to call it.
Pretty safe assumptions, I would be sure. Now, Faceless, they've also banned out one of the more survivable mid-heroes already in terms of the puck, so that's not going to be available for them up against the Enchantress, was kind of one of those classic ones. We do still have the Mirana, who just got a little bit of love last game. Didn't go too well for Anna, but she's a classic anti-Enchantress hero.
I don't think I've seen Jabs or Black play the hero too often, so I would lean away from that, but...
Warlock being picked up, giving us a lot of extra team fight potential. Is this an NP with the combination of Batrider and Enchantress? Is this an NP that's going to be very aggressive and try and force fights and go for that big 5-on-5?
For now, the only AoE they're really dealing with would be the Batrider, so probably going to pick up a little bit more of that, I would imagine. Try and take advantage of the Fatal Bonds.
Yeah, Fatal Bond currently isn't doing too much of anything. I mean, depending on how many stacks is on the targeted heroes, Batrider can output a lot of damage. But yeah, it's really hard to judge on the, I guess, the outcome of the lanes right now, because no cores have been selected. All right, the first real core, we're going to see a Bristleback. Most likely going to be Jabs' hero. And you still retain the possibility to go on the aggressive. If you feel a bit of weakness from the Team MP safe lane, Witch Doctor Bristleback is definitely not something you should ignore.
Are you okay with the Nyx Assassin in a 1v1 against the Batrider?
Probably not. Probably. I think you give away too much to the Bat Rider. So.
Yeah. And they don't really, I mean, the Pudge maybe with the rotations there, but we're going to have the similar rotations coming in from that Enchantress too, so it'll be quite the bloodbath. I'm a little concerned for this Bristleback as well in terms of how NP are going to deal with it. What kind of heroes are left? I think of like, you want burst heroes in a sense to work with your Bat Rider and the lasso, so you can quickly get these pickoffs, but some of these heroes that are also very good against Bristleback are tending to be this like longer sustained damage, like a Razor or a Death Prophet. So they are going to go with the Luna, who is a little bit of burst through the Eclipse, but also just builds up to enough right click that it's kind of bouncing around those fights, and maybe that'll be enough of a balance here for them. More AoE damage to go with the Fatal Bonds, and certainly a classic hero here for Eternal Envy.
How does his Luna match up against the only other big core that we see, which is the Bristleback? Do you feel like the Luna's going to be okay with this hero all up in her face, even able to tank a lot of the damage from the Eclipse?
I'm scared that they only have Lasso to like directly control the Bristle.
I think this is going to be enough. Generally, when they pick Luna, NP's game do go pretty late, and we saw the last couple of days that's where the Luna really takes over. And that's where Bristleback starts to fall off as well. So I feel like this is actually a good way for MP to take the game. Seems like they're trying to take it relatively late, like 35 to 45 minutes and beyond.
So we're still going to use the Luna, like we have Eclipse. Let's use a fight, but we're going to be really focusing on like stacking up Ancients and letting.
I mean, they have the
Luna
option to
farm
do
through
both,
that.
and I think that's the strength of this lineup. Like they could end the game if Enchantress have a great laning stage and just like backstab 3 lanes, win 3 lanes, or if they could want to take it late, they can.
Yeah, and maybe Faceless want to open up that option for themselves too. They already have the sustain from the Witch Doctor. Sometimes if Bristleback, much like a Timbersaw, he just gets a couple kills, he gets one item to be tanky, and suddenly he seems so impossible to deal with. You just start like running down these lanes. There is a chance here they could go for a hero to try and influence that just a little bit further too. Or they could start to see what you're talking about from NP, where, okay, if this game starts getting a little bit later, we could get in some serious trouble. Maybe we need more of a late game edge coming in for ourselves here.
The last time they banned away Storm Spirit, they had the Shadow Fiend on their pickup. Are we looking at a mid still for Faceless? One of Black's roles?
I believe so. I believe Black has been playing much harder carry core compared to the Bristleback. To be fair though, he's been playing a different core, I feel like, every single game, right? We've seen ODs, we've seen Tinies, we've seen Shadow Fiend like you mentioned. We're gonna see the Fatalina.
That Lunar Blessing.
And one thing I want to mention about the Fatalina, he's been taking the 125 cast range as his level 10 talent. Pretty, I don't want to say like it's never been done before, but I want to say pretty rare compared to the other Lina nowadays. The early Yule Scepter allowing Team MP to fight. I think it's going to be quite vital and important this game.
This really does make our lineup come together with a lot of team fight potential, a lot of pickoff power between Bat Rider and Lina, and then this high ground pusher, the Invoker.
The Black Invoker.
Black Invoker.
All right, a hero they were willing to even throw in the safe lane, of course, at times, or anything they'd really want with that Black role swap, and now with him being in the mid lane, it fits just even a little bit better. I have to say, looking at NP, definitely a very balanced lineup. Early aggression from the Enchantress, late game kind of securing with the Luna, and even like wave clear coming out from the Lina and somewhat the Bat Rider. It's just, that tends to be those lineups you almost go like all in with, but Faceless instead, they backed off. They said, okay, we're going to try and balance ours out as well. We've got the team fight, and things looking pretty balanced, I'd say.
I think it's much harder to execute Faceless lineup to a high degree, especially when you go to like 25 and beyond. Like heroes like Witch Doctor and Pudge really start to fall off unless you get Great Casket and Great Hook. So I'm going to be favoring Team MP here with draft number 1.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm not sure about the stuns for the Bristleback. I feel like XY might just run this one on over and go for Faceless.
All right, very well. Well, I'm kind of leaning up. Black Invoker, why not? I'm gonna go for it. It's a Sea Dream after all. A Black Anti-Mage, a Black Invoker. How could you say no? Well, I know who can't say no. It's gonna be our 2 casters. Second place Hype Off duo. LD and Gods.
If only his casting was half as good as his trash talk, he might be here for this match, LD.
All right, let's go. Faceless versus NP, big match for both teams, Gods. I mean, honestly, to me, this is probably one of the most exciting matchups we could have had at this tournament because both of these teams are not guaranteed invites to TI, but winning the Manila Masters might well be enough to punch your ticket.
Absolutely. This is the big event for both these two teams. The likes of OG, EG, Newbie being here. You've still got those teams waiting in the tournament. You've got to get past them, but this is the way to get to TI, doing well here at the Manila Masters.
Yeah, a long day for both teams. We had a pretty quick win by NP to start the day, and then they had to kind of cool their heels for a while so you can maybe lose momentum. Some teams who had to play 2 matches on the first day even took a nap, went back to the hotel, but you got to still keep that energy going to the next match. Faceless fresh off of a grueling set with a little bit of time to collect themselves, so we'll see who comes in hot.
Yeah, both Pudge and Enchantress TPing mid, level 1 with smokes popping each other's and reveal some of those early moves at the start. And we've seen Jabs really adapt very fast to this 4 position role. He's been very impressive in what he's brought to the table, had a great Sand King performance against OG, and he really has been a key player for Faceless in their kind of new form here at Manila.
So the lanes will assemble, and looking very standard and what you would expect from NP, with the Batrider off lane, the Enchantress likely to roam, putting Fauna mid on the Lina. A little bit less elusive or tanky of a hero. You know, we've seen the Bristleback, we've seen the Puck. Generally heroes that can get in the middle of the fight or have a way to get out of it, but being a little more vulnerable to those ganks, which could well be coming in the mid game from the Nyx, even the Pudge in the laning stage. As for Faceless, looks like they are showing that Nyx towards bottom for now, so it's going to be the safe lane Bristle running it as the proper 1 position, and Ice going to be assuming the mantle of the Nyx.
Yeah, pretty annoying offlane hero to deal with the Nyx with this stout double mango. He's got over 6 HP regen. Trying to harass him out of lane can be very challenging, and may even have to see MP focus some early ganks from AUI down that direction just to try and make sure they can bully him out of this lane, prevent his experience. It really feels like the offlane has changed a lot. We're not seeing these Legion Commanders, Abaddons anymore with the Shrines, Poor Man Shield offlane. It's now becoming much more what the offlane used to be. More elusive heroes with escapes. The Nyx, the Batrider, the 2 picked up here.
Somebody might be giving up a first blood here. Sunstrike coming out. AUI getting slowed down by the Rot. Oh, the Sunstrike not connecting though, and it is going to cost them. Jabs unable to stay in range for the Rot kill, so a missed opportunity here. Faceless unable to collect that kill, but are going to force AUI to either use some consumables or be a bit vulnerable here to start the laning stage.
Yeah, that's a tough one to miss. It should be, in their mind, like a free first blood. You get a Pudge on top of an Enchantress. You've got boots on the Pudge, and not getting that kill does kind of cost him. AUI gets his stack off still. He's going to get an early creep, so hasn't really hurt his early game whatsoever. Has forced him into a more defensive position in the jungle, but he's still able to gank out of this jungle where he is.
Yeah, and as a Lina, you're generally, as an Enchantress, you're generally not having to tank the creeps that much, so it doesn't hurt you as much as what it might for some other junglers.
Yep.
We'll see where he wants to go first. If you're AUI in this position, Gods, what's your ideal scenario? Is there a certain lane you want to gank? Do you just want to farm? What's the game plan early on for the Enchantress here?
Yeah, there's the 2 lanes, both mid and bottom, are very exposed. Invoker doesn't have good escape. No, Nyx has slightly better, but the beauty of ganking the bottom lane is you've got 2 heroes there, so it's like a full 3-man gank. Lunar Blessing gives you a lot of good damage output, so we'll likely see him make some early moves. Doesn't have a smoke though, so he's just going to grab 2 creeps and head up top. This is more like the let's apply pressure to the enemy carry, let's get aggressive. He doesn't care about making any kind of sneaky moves. He doesn't care about this rotation translating to kills. He just wants to contest the farm of the opposing team.
Highlight die showing off the power of Warlock in the laning stage here. He's able to trade with that Nyx Assassin. SSI struggling to find his last hits, but so too is the opposing Batrider. So neither offlane are really getting a whole lot of CS here. The mid lane is a bit of a victory early for the Lina, but still overall, Gods feels like a fairly even back and forth beginning to the laning stage. Nobody gaining a clear upper hand. And some parts that can move around, whether it's a Pudge roaming for hooks, an Enchantress going for the ganks. Sunstrike can be the +1 in any of these engagements, should they develop. And Jabs is going to make that first move for the side of Faceless into enemy territory now.
Yeah, this comes at a time where Nyx doesn't have all that much mana to use directly, but has the 2 mangoes if he wants to break into that. Does mean he'll lose some of that HP regen, so I imagine more likely than not he's just hoping that Jabs can apply some additional
pressure. Meanwhile, AUI is setting up on the mid lane.
Looks
like he wants to go for the flank, and simultaneously, first blood attempted by MSS, but just short of getting the kill. Oh. Nice scouting there with the Forge Spirit, though, is going to identify this gank. So AUI will be denied, and Faceless almost got the first blood earlier on the Enchantress, but will in the end still collect their bounty. So AUI heading towards stop and set, it looks like.
Close one. Hook attempt. From bottom, he's got the Arcane Rune, so these hooks not really costing all too much mana. May as well throw them around a bit willy-nilly, and Faceless going to be feeling decent about how things are started. Like you mentioned, kind of does feel like both teams getting farm on their cores, no one being pressured too heavily, both offlaners getting some levels as well as some farm, so no one pulling ahead just yet. No true success from any of the 4 position rotations. Both Pudge and Enchantress haven't really hit their stride quite yet.
Lots of roaming potential and early killing potential in this game, but not a whole lot materializing. We'll see the hook combination. Wow. Great setup there by Ice Ice Ice. That's the kind of combo you're looking for if you're Faceless, and they will secure the kill. Great Sunstrike placement there by Black. Though his mid tower is being pressured, and it feels like he's starting to get bullied now. With the threat of the Enchantress ganks, he's not able to see us in the lane. Fada's getting free chip damage in, but Jabs looks to change this equation.
What a rune to get.
He rotates in.
Tower.
Hook could be big here, though. AOI's in the neighborhood. Nuts is going to lend the assist. Starts it off with the cast. Jabs not choosing to deploy that hook just yet. They're trying to bait him towards the pit, and now they spring the trap. The Maledict's there. The hook comes through, but they need a little bit of follow-up. Fada's not going to die too quickly. Eventually will go down, but Nuts might fall to Roshan, and Jabs might also fall to the Satyr as he retreats out. He's going to be in danger. Black going for the body blocks. Well played. Well played, sir. And it looks like Jabs most likely indeed will escape.
Yeah, some nice early moves. Even with the 3-kill advantage, though, it does feel like NP are doing decently in the lane. They're getting farms, and they're constantly applying pressure, focusing on objectives, and he's doing it here even before he makes any rotations, just looking to take this tier 1 as early as possible. And there's nothing Black can really do. If he tries to take the creeps away from the tower, he exposes himself to those Enchantress ganks, so as a result, Lina able to spam out the lane, hit the tower constantly.
Now, we did see earlier in the tournament, Ana got shut down fairly hard early as his Invoker, but was able to come back and ultimately was the impact player heading into the late game. Of course, that's a long road for Black to get there as AUI makes his move here under cover of smoke. The creeps are going to be revealed. They scout out Nuts. Witch Doctor just so good against Enchantress with the cast. Normally should be fine in this situation, but it all comes down to the micro skills, and already heavy damage from that blast. It looks like Nuts will make it out, but not really able to stop this kind of aggression as Fada just pummels it down. Just that casual point in the Fiery Soul early, all he needs.
Yeah, AUI and the Enchantress stole the first Siege Creep. The new Siege Creeps do a lot more damage there. I'll take it. Bottom lane, hook from Jabs.
Oh, if only Ice 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 had hit that stun, it would have been an easy kill. The Sunstrike comes through, but NB just barely. They make him go splat, and simultaneously top XY survives the onslaught. He's almost dead right now to the Enchantress. AUI coming in for the save. It's really been the story of the tournament for NP. Pretty much every game they either win the lanes or at least have a chance in the lanes. It's all AUI coming up flush in this laning stage and doing so here again. Whether it's the tree, the Enchantress, all the creatures of the forest appear to work for NP.
The Siege Creeps are very impactful early on. AUI has stolen 2 of them now. He can refresh the one that's going to be expiring soon if he wants to, and this is a very strong pushing power coming out from him as a result.
And you talk about pushing power, look at Faceless. This is a pretty weak D-pushing lineup, truth be told, and at least until Invoker gets very farmed.
It's a nice kill to find that.
They need these kinds of kills. MSS gonna go down, slowly roasted by the nasal goo and the rot. But NP, they're taking objectives. They're looking for a tier 1 top. And how do you stop this, Gods? It just doesn't really seem like something their lineup can do at this point. Even Envy's going to join it. Shades of LGD International with the early Luna rotation.
At level 4, Luna coming top with the double siege. She's like, look, I'll come up here. I don't feel safe at bottom. Let's make stuff happen. And this is incredibly early. This is definitely the downside of picking this Invoker. I mean, Black has been involved in a couple of kills. The Sunstrikes pair very well with the Nyx Assassin and the Pudge. But this is a hero that takes a long time to come online, does not defend towers well. It's not going to do that well in the laning stage, and we're kind of seeing it here. You've lost 2 tier 1 towers, you haven't been able to defend them at all, and CS-wise, Invoker is struggling.
Jabs keeps on trying to apply that pressure, but not able to find the hook on Pi in the bottom lane. Didn't have a whole lot of help, so would have been very reliant on the Sunstrike hitting to have a chance at that kill, as MP will take a moment here to shrine up, start farming the wood. So what's next for NP, Gods? Do they just go back to farming? Do they start to look for follow-ups? Smokes or rotations?
Want to get their level 6s now. Like the first couple towers without was pretty cute, something unexpected, but getting Luna Eclipse up. And Luna's kind of, you want to get level 7 really, so you get the maxed out Lucent Beams for the Eclipse. Similarly, Warlock's level 6. They get a lot stronger and scarier with that rock.
Oh, hey buddy. Oh, the creep's not cooperating though. Jabs gets completely shut down by what he thought was his own friend.
Cancel TP. Could leave AUI still a little bit exposed at bottom, but doesn't look like Nyx wants to stick around.
They need a lot of nuke damage, so again, Sunstrike will be crucial to help control this Enchantress. See that Lina Hafada making an aggressive maneuver into the enemy woods. Yep. Just a lot of lane's really starting to break down now, aside from those off-laners, but Ice changes that equation. He will go for the Impel. Well-placed Sunstrike. It's enough. Pi will fall, and Faceless look to strike back, but Fada lurks. They do have Eclipse. They have Laguna. There's some kill opportunity here. If they hit the stun, it barely is going to miss on Black. Now it's Fada who has to back away, so missed opportunity there.
Yeah, a split second to go for that stun, so doesn't quite get the kill, and we'll see Faceless get a little bit more room. They get the Vanguard up on Bristleback. This is a much-needed item to defend these early T1s, and a big reason why NP aren't jumping to take additional objectives just yet. I think they realize like damage has been done. They've taken the early T1s. Time to pull back the lanes, get some more farm. Batrider's only just hit level 6. He's 700 gold, nowhere near his Blink Dagger, so it does feel like there's going to be an element of slowing down the pace, perhaps playing around like that level 10 tomb to get Warlock his level 6 before you look for a big team fight.
NP, as you mentioned, slowing things down now. XY just back to the jungle, has the Vanguard to start, so probably one of his strongest starts in the laning stage, really, of the tournament. Did seem to struggle there a bit as the Weaver, but pretty much getting free farm top. And right up there with the Invoker. So he'll be the beefy frontliner. A lot of magic damage this game. Could consider that Cloak or maybe even a full hood or pipe potentially, given the matchup.
And right now, the way this game kind of has hook up on Knocking Line has transitioned into more of a like, let's farm, get our levels. This can suit Faceless. This is a stage where Nyx can go around looking for solo kills. With the Sunstrike, he's got more than enough damage to kill any hero. I think all 5 of these heroes will die to the Impale Sunstrike combo. So very dangerous hero to have active on the map. And that's why they're showing Pudge bottom lane. They don't care if they know where the Pudge is anymore, because Nyx alone is such a big threat.
Well, the lane ward about to expire here. Will NP be ready? They'll need some fresh sentries in a jiffy, as Ice with the DD rune would love to get off this Vendetta auto attack, but it looks like it's going to wear off just a bit too early. Still, as you mentioned, I think they can get the kill with just a well-placed Sunstrike, and certainly with the Bristleback help, but Fada jukes him out. The hook is there. Fada's got to cancel the TP, and still, despite 2 whiffs, they might have a chance at this kill. In fact, Fada's looking very caged and very trapped indeed as 4 come in, but Fada makes the most of it. He'll take nuts with him.
Yeah, Fada's a player. Mid lane now. Rotation.
Oh,
with
man, the Golem and the Flame Break. Poor Black. At least he got his Midas first. He has managed to use it, so maintaining what efficiency he can. But when you don't have your tier 1 this early as Invoker, in fact, in 2 of the lanes, ideally top or mid is where you're farming, the map feels very claustrophobic.
Yeah. In some ways, like the lanes push out more, it feels like you're farming like a bit more, but yeah, like you say, you're a lot more exposed. These ganks can come in, and it's very easy for NP to succeed when they smoke up.
NP are quite far out here.
Sentry ward is there.
Only 3 in the neighborhood. Depends how hard Faceless want to commit, potentially the Bristleback.
He's out of range of the sentry. If he sticks to the top side, he will avoid it, but he's gone in now.
Oh, he pokes his little head out. The glaive is going to bounce to him, so he knows something's up. Lucent Beam will connect. Jabs roaming in. And now Ice, aware that...
He's trying to test, like, where is this sentry?
No, they're going to hook that catapult back in, but again, the D push for Faceless is very minimal, and NP able to punish it again.
Yep. Ice just doesn't want to go in. Eclipse is overall pretty good against Nyx Assassin, because it means when you get stunned by the Carapace, you can still actually burst him down while you're stunned up, so don't really feel like the Carapace is going to be a good solution to diving and then Vendetta initiating onto a Luna who can just turn and Eclipse you. Especially a Luna who's tanky enough to perhaps survive through it, but they recognize that he's TP bottom now. Envy is in a very precarious position here.
Envy not spending a whole lot of time farming, and this ain't gonna help matters. Gets hooked in right into the Dismember. Sunstrike special. He again is stunned by the cask and will be brought down. Meanwhile, top lane looking for that follow-up gank, though there won't be a Sunstrike for a little while. Ice. He's gonna have to be patient if he wants to make this kill happen, but lots of time on the Vendetta.
Yeah, he can wait for it. Doesn't have the Firefly to proc a Carapace with.
He knows that sentry is somewhere in the neighborhood, but now he sees his opening. Stop playing with our hearts like this. Oh, he's gonna let it go, man. That Vendetta tech so damn slow.
Oh, the creep.
there. They don't have the firepower, but XY's gonna come in. Laguna
really
insufficient. AUI will get away, and Fada actually chases forward.
He microed the creep to share the Sunstrike damage. So well played by AUI. I feel like almost certainly that would have been enough damage if he didn't split it with that neutral.
That Vendetta auto attack just so damn slow, but not quite enough damage for Faceless, at least not at this stage of the game. And that, look how farmed this Enchantress is. Normally you get that kill, but she's already got drums and boots, or upgraded traits.
Mid, they've caught Ally Die.
Well, there's no saving him. It's pie for dinner.
That's
nice bit of dessert for Faceless, but MSS wants some vengeance for his fallen comrade. He's going to get the lasso off here on Witch Doctor, following up, chasing forward, going for the 2-for-1 special. The Eclipse comes in, but Chairman Mao, oh, actually, they just have the range with MSS. Lunging forward, they will be able to find the kill. Well played by NP. And again, like, guys, you look at so many of these fights, NP have to chase for a while for these kills, but Faceless don't have those outer towers, so it's tough for them to get there in time to try and contest.
Barrel, has he succeeded?
Yes. Sunstrike follow-up auto attack. That's a big kill, taking down Fada.
This is been a go-to build for Fata. We'll see if Ice can get out.
Nuts is coming in as well. A well-placed cast might be able to change the equation here. Bounces it through, and now the Death Ward flies. It bounces back. It keeps on bouncing back. Jackie drags the cask in, and with it, down goes MSS. A flurry of pings from Fada, who I imagine was not too pleased with Envy's pathing there. Costly maneuver.
One of the downsides of the Lina build this game is you're not very tanky. Often if you go straight into the Bloodstone, that point booster makes you a lot more survivable, but you're looking at a 980 HP Lina with extra intel from this Yule Scepter. So a Nyx combo with the Sunstrike will kill this Lina every single time. So Fata really needs to try and get this point booster up as soon as possible just so he can't be solo killed.
AUI even adding an urn to his inventory. What a gigantic Enchantress. I mean, you mentioned, like, so many times when he's played this hero coming into this event, he was the most farmed hero on the team, and he's only behind the Lina. But with all that said, it is still an Enchantress, and until she gets the big damage items, she kind of has this, like, trough in this stage of the game where she doesn't bring as much to fights.
And okay heroes like to fight her in the mid to late game. Like the farmed Enchantress can be dealt with okay by a Pudge with the hook in. You don't need a right clicker. Invoker, it's all magic damage. You're going to need a BKB against him. Bristleback, you can just keep spamming the quills and get in nice and close as well. Top lane.
Gonna set up here on the Bristleback. Fortunately, is not facing entirely away from the lead-up, but the hook save by Jabs. He's got your back, XY. XY taking out some vengeance here on the catapult.
Very nicely done. We'll see another gank at bottom lane. Vendetta initiation. Not sure they've got the damage this time.
And be able to survive the onslaught, but still being forced back. I suppose if the Mask of Madness is activated, that's a potential kill, but...
Yes, with the Vendetta physical damage would have likely found him.
Still, though, Envy is not really getting that free farm already. Look at the core discrepancy in net worth. XY, as well as Black, are quite far ahead.
XY, though.
Well, XY out on his own. We've seen this movie before in the tournament. XY, maybe he can at least get a kill and trade with the Quill spam. It's not looking likely. AUI slamming the door. We'll find that last imp, securing the kill, and Faceless deprived of one of their most farmed heroes. He now completes the Hood. I do like the Hood a lot this game, gods. There's a ton of magic damage through the early to mid game. Of course, not the best late game pickup for a Bristleback.
Also, a great Blade Mail game if he wants to get that early. Damage that can't be prevented from the Firefly, from the Lunar Eclipse, some of the Lina spells potentially. If they're going flying around, you got guaranteed Blade Mail damage. So I feel like that could be a really value item from him as well, depending on how much he feels he needs to be a carry. Like he's playing the safe lane farmer role, but he may just feel the Invoker, the Nyx have enough damage that he can just tank up and go more that utility build, like we saw in the last game against OG from Ice 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 in the Bristle.
I haven't talked too much about Ice 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 lately, but while ganking, he's also managed to pick up a Midas, now going back for the Blink Dagger, so keeping his own farm up and ensuring he will stay relevant later into the game.
Yep.
What is the longer-term game plan for Faceless now, gods? Are they content to just sit back?
Yeah,
are they looking for a certain timing here?
They just want to keep finding pickoffs. They don't want to play the 5v5 game. You're looking at a heavy teamfight draft from NP with Warlock, Luna. You want to play the full map. You want to try and split things up as much as possible, and really spread NP out so you can find picks using the Nyx, using the Pudge, and the Invoker's a hero that ideally it really excels like when he's high level, lots of farm, you really want 3-4 big items, level 20 plus. You're not looking to fight with this Invoker for some time.
Well, NP want to force their hand and kind of punish that spreading of the map as they head straight to the Roche pit.
I mean, this is a play for NP. You know your opponents aren't going to fight you in a team fight. You try and force one at Roche or punish the fact that they're not team fighting in Faceless. They'll take the fight.
They want to take this one. Can Jabs find that initiating hook? Centaur's there, scouting things out. They're going to send XY in first.
You get the Lina.
Prepping. He is there. He reels him in. Big catch by Jabs. See you later, Fada. And now Faceless gonna lunge forward. They'll kill off the Centaur. No buyback. They might just be able to steal this Roche. They do have a Bristleback. Yeah. They're decent at it with the Classic Zor Invoker, but
no Solar Crest.
They don't know he doesn't have buyback is the other thing, so they're not going to risk it.
I think even without Lina, you lose if you're in the pit. So if you want to kill Roche quickly, you're going to have 4 or 5 heroes hitting it, and that's where Rock, Fatal Bonds, Upheaval, Eclipse, boom, you're dead. No Lina, doesn't matter. You're going to die if you're caught in the Roche pit. So I think it was definitely the right call to back out, even in a 5v4 situation. But you've stopped your opposing team from Roaching. That's the big thing there for Faceless. Love what Jabs does. He doesn't go for the hook to save the Bristle. He knows his Bristle is tanky, and it's the Lina doing the damage. Go for the offensive hook and deny NP from taking a team fight. You get that hook deep into your side of the map, Warlock can't really respond because the entire NP team is too far away. They don't have initiation. They don't have the blink on the Bat Rider yet.
And they don't really have a save. There's no, Dazzle this game or an Oracle, someone who can potentially help deal with the hook. If someone gets caught, there's no Venge Swap. They're on an island and likely dead, as none of these heroes are tanky by nature. They don't have the Bristleback style hero who can frontline for them. So
aggressive smoke maneuver from NP. This is where you really want to get some wards down. Warlock, he's got 1 to use. But it was Faceless already at the bottom lane, avoiding this one for now. They'd love a kill on Black's Invoker, but there's been too many heroes missing for too long. He probably doesn't know exactly where they are. He probably thinks they're in the main jungle, but this smoke, even though it went an unusual, unorthodox direction, will still not catch Faceless off guard.
Envy gonna sound the retreat, TPing out to top. Faceless playing it very defensively right now, and down to just a handful of outer towers towards the southern side of the map.
The thing Faceless do really well is they show 2 of their cores. The Invoker Bristle, like, oh, we're just sitting mid-farming, but you're always going to see, like, Nyx just vendettaing around, kind of off on his own, looking to make some plays. And that's something which NP always have to be wary of whenever they're farming alone.
Pipe now complete. So the team fight of Faceless starts to amp up here as you look at NP. Until Luna gets some items, they are very much magic damage heavy, and Envy, first man, caught out. Sunstrike's there, good teamwork attempted, but Jabs is going to cut him off at the feet with the hook from behind. They have the detection to bring Black down. They're laying in with the imps. He's still got quite a bit of HP, and AUI may be in a bit too deep here. The hook somehow missing that Bat Rider. Jabs, though, still landing the Dismember. Black's like, where's my team? Where's my help? He gets off the Deafening Blast, and suddenly AUI's in too far. The coup stacking up. They've got the Maledicte Fada. Will get the 3-hero stun. Actually make it 4, I think. Well, nuts either way. Busy dealing with the Roach. They still trace, though. They're not done yet. They reel him back in, and now AUI looks completely finished. Venison on the menu as the Enchantress will fall.
Black played that fight incredibly well, getting all his offensive spells off at the start, and then on the retreat, used the Ghost Walk, realized he was under detection, had to get out, got the Tornado out, made the one tiniest small mistake of going to the EMP instead of the Deafening Blast, but he still managed to get to the Deafening Blast in time to save his life and get Faceless further ahead, 16-6, a 5,000 gold lead. And the big thing here is they keep preventing the Roche. MP really want to be able to force this 5-man push by getting an Aegis. If they can get Aegis on Luna to front line and hit these buildings, it's very hard for Faceless to defend that. And every time they kind of posture around that Roche pit, Faceless is there to find these picks. The Nyx initiations, the hooks from Jabs have been very problematic, and MP just haven't found success in their rotations. The big reason why they haven't is because they still need this blink on MSS's Bat Rider. He hasn't got it, so when you're smoking up, your catch right now is the Lina Yule Scepter, which just doesn't have quite the same range of initiation as a Bat Rider does.
And she doesn't have a get out of jail free card. If she walks in too far and she gets caught, she's dead. Nyx has the Carapace.
Yep.
He's a little bit more durable. Of course, the Pudge is a meat shield. So
that's
it was the Bristleback.
Exactly what we saw at the Roche pit when Lina initiated with the Yules, then got hooked right away.
MSS running in, but the Carapace stun is there to hold him in position. Now the follow-up Sunstrike. Impale comes through, but they need a little bit more firepower. And XY looks to deliver it, charging forward. Oh, that Pudge is going to tank Laguna, will go down. Do they get the trade, though, killing off the Batrider? He's quite far on his own, but Envy comes in with an excellent flank. The Moonrider strikes and will take down the Witch Doctor as well, so a nice job by him. And that is the kind of cleaner initiation they are looking for. Something NP really need because they have to get that clean jump. If they get caught out, they're likely dying.
Yep. Pudge was...
As they are a lot squishy.
Yeah, Pudge was kind of too far forward there, but NP did a really good job of punishing it, getting in, and this gives MSS his Blink Dagger. So they can look to force another Roche fight. They've got really good vision around the pit with the ward on the cliff. So it could be a location they want to fight. They did lose their Observer ward to the north of the Roche pit, so may find themselves a little bit exposed. You really have to have amazing vision to Roche against a Pudge. You need to know where he is to not get hooked out and picked off.
Ice going for it again. The Sunstrike's going to be there. I don't know if they have the damage for this, so turns out to be simple harassment. Now Jab's going with the hook. He's going to find Pi, but there is still a shrine here. Pi might get a save. No, MSS TPing in, and that says, yeah, sorry, buddy. It's die for you this time.
This Pudge pick has been incredibly effective. 12 of the kills have had Jabs' involvement, and that's the hero that's going to make it really hard for this Luna to ever really push high ground. I mean, talk about NP in some of their drafts. They've really excelled when they've had these like long-range sieges, like the Luna, the Lina, just hitting buildings, 5-manning with an Aegis. But Pudge is kind of like the right kind of counter pick to have against that playstyle, and you can't just stick cores onto buildings when there's a threat of a Pudge meat hook.
A back and forth game here. It's still a decent gold lead for Faceless, up 5k despite the tower deficit.
Fata's got a Shadow Blade, goes away from the Bloodstone build. This is the first time this tournament we've seen him not go straight into the Bloodstone after the Yules, and wants to play the pickoff game himself. I think he realizes Faceless are not going to play this 5v5 game. That's where the Bloodstone is good. In a game where they're playing split, you've got to try and catch them as well. So he's trying to find pickoffs. Similar to the Batrider, it means they can both kind of function a bit more independently.
And certainly this game, Silver Edge is fantastic against the Bristleback if he wants to upgrade it. But bottom lane, again, it's Pylite Die, and Ice there to set it up, catches him out. Cool guys don't look back at Explosion, so he'll blink away before the Sunstrike even connects.
Ice is just a constant threat. Even when he's doing this and they slightly miss the kill, it just delays NP. They're the ones who feel like they have more of a timing window where they're trying to take Roche, take towers and objectives, but constantly forcing heroes to heal. A Tornado EMP onto Envy at bottom means he's now low mana. They can't actually play an objective game like they normally do.
Definitely feels like Faceless are more comfortable moving around the map. It's not the most overwhelming lead, and the map control advantage technically should be in NP's favor given the tower score, but in practice it's really not. It feels like Faceless, because they have that ganking threat and that global potential, are actually the scarier team. Is it like a point where NP has to consider a gem pickup gods? Can they 5-man with something like that? Another pick. Highlight Die just starting to chain feed Ice. Tough game for the Warlock.
Yeah, I was just thinking that there's really two options. Oh, another kill.
Oh, and a big one too. Fata on a little trip through mid, but the dust was there, and the punish comes out. I think they may have seen him go invis with the Shadow Blade up near the Radiant Creep Camp. As you can see, there's a dire ward somewhat in the neighborhood.
I mean, there's really two things to do to deal with this Nyx. One, buy a gem, put it on your Batrider, but he's not going to BKB, so he puts himself in a dangerous position. Or two, invest a ton in sentries. You need to put sentries on the map next to your Observer ward so you see the Nyx invading your jungle. You don't have to physically have a hero there with sentries. You just need to know where the Nyx is, bait him into a gank, and then turn it around on him. But Warlock's just constantly dying. He hasn't even been able to afford many sentries. This is where, if you can buy like 3-4 sentries, set up a few trap locations on the map at like common access points, you can find the Nyx. But Faceless has just found one too many pickoffs and now find themselves, as a result, in the Roche pit themselves, but a little bit wary of NP's team fight.
You know, why group up as 5 against the Warlock if you don't have to? But they're itemizing to take those team fights. You see a Crimson Guard now grabbed by the Bristleback, so XY super team-oriented here with the pipe. the Crimson Guard complete, and Faceless are going to make a bold 5-man maneuver forward. It's Ice 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 once again. He starts it off. The party begins. Could be in a bad way too as MSS is isolated. That means no lasso initiation, though they do get off a decent rock. They'll bring down jabs with it, but the Pudge not really the most important hero in these larger scale engagements. So Black re-engages now, finds the Tornado, EMP as well. A fairly ineffective Eclipse from Eternal Envy. Does net them the nuts kill, but that's about it. Still not bringing down those more crucial targets, and XY charges in. He's going to force out the NVBKB. There's no way you kill XY yet. You've got to wait out this pipe, wait out this Crimson Guard, then maybe you can go back in. They will try just that Fada, though, nearly out of mana. XY even thinking about sticking around. So they get the 2-for-3 kill advantage. They do commit a BKB charge, some big ultimates, gods, with the Eclipse and the Warlock ult. Was that even a win for NP?
I'd say it was. It wasn't like a massive game for them, but it was still a kill on this very pesky farm Nyx Assassin. It was like 1,000 gold swing for them. So it's still fine. I mean, they haven't been using these ultimates. That's the thing. I haven't seen a Chaotic Offering or an Eclipse in 10, 15 minutes. So the fact they found a 5v5 where they got to use their ultis, they came out slightly on top, that's what MP need. It gives them something to work with and something that they can kind of look back to for the next time they have those ultis up.
I mean, if you're Faceless, don't you just go Roche right now? Like, you know those ults are on cooldown. To BKB was blown.
Yep.
Seems like a really big opportunity for them.
Jabs. He misses though. But
I did see XY just walk in the pit, so it looks like he was calling to go take Roche now.
Yeah, you either go Roche or you go fight while they're down. You've got 80 seconds on Warlock, 60 on Luna. Definitely a good time to take a fight. Problem is, top lane, bottom lane, lane equilibrium not in the best place, but they say stuff it. Pudge will solo push out top and then make his way towards the pit. Let's force this road.
Will NP come out to play?
I'm not sure they can without these ultis. It's
like they're more interested in split pushing. Fada is attempting that, but Ice 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 is already in pursuit, setting up on the bottom lane. I don't know if the Sunstrike alone is enough, but he's going to try. Goes for the Carapace initiation here with the stun. Oh, baby, is it ever. Another kill. Black just being freely fed by Ice 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 this game. Easiest Invoker game of his life.
Yeah, it's one of those games where Invoker's going to end with some like crazy KDA and net worth, but realistically he's just sat farming, playing passively and throwing Sunstrikes. I mean, he's playing a great game. This is the dream Invoker game. This is exactly what you want your team to be doing when you're playing Invoker. Very little pressure on Black outside of the first 5 minutes of the game, and now with an Aegis in hand, they can play aggressive themselves. Invoker, the recipient of that one. They feel XY, I mean, they look at the last one and they're like, XY didn't die. They focus Black.
Hulk initiation from Jabs is going to start it off, and the Death Ward combines with another Sunstrike. Black racking up the kills now at 17k net worth. Another strong showing from an Invoker player this tournament as Faceless continue to move. Envy, Sama could be in danger. He does have the BKB, but
he's going to save the stun for the TP.
He's going to have to BKB TP out to have a safe retreat, or he can run away. Either way, he's not defending the base, and XY is punishing right now. He's actually farming in the woods here. If you go for the initiation with Vendetta first, he should have a chance to BKB. I don't know if they have the damage with just a stun, but the whole team is caravanning towards top lane, and he's just going to start it off. Straight stun to the face. Down he goes again. Ice 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 is on fire.
Yeah, very patient. He knew he didn't quite have the damage. Saw the Mask of Madness and was like, this will be enough. This will give a bit of extra damage to my Vendetta. We'll make sure we get this one. We don't have to get that mid-rax just yet. We've already opened up access to the shrines, and Faceless will fall back, take the first of a couple, and to go in on mid, perhaps. Black's just TPing in, and with Envy dead, we may see Faceless make a go at this mid lane.
Does have the buyback, but already down substantially to his counterpart cores on the side of Faceless. Certainly doesn't want to have to use it here. But gods, this is the dream scenario for NP in the sense that it's a congested area. They have the big team fight ults.
Yep.
How will Faceless position themselves? They're pretty spread out right now. At most, you can hit the 2 cores in front, but with XY being so tanky, it won't be easy to find that opening. And indeed, Envy does not want to quit the buyback, so they sack a lane of Rax here. Freely taken by Faceless. They just march in and grab what's theirs, and now they waltz away.
Yeah, they're good with their positioning there. They know the Bristle on the front lines is too tanky to be lassoed, and the Invoker has a Lincoln. So the Aegis doesn't protect the Invoker when you're pushing there, because if he gets lassoed, pulled into tier 4s, he'll die twice. But with the Lincolns, there's no real good way for Bat to start the fight, and the rest of the team were just positioned very far back. Ideally, you want to try and catch the Nyx with the lasso, and speaking of getting caught, he has been found
That's a big kill.
Yeah. Right on top of the sentry.
Down.
This is the kind of traps I mentioned. Dealing with the Nyx, you either need a gem or these Sentry Observer combos. He's sitting around, he's invis, but he's right on top of one of the traps, and they do find a much-needed kill on him. I feel like they just haven't been punishing Ice enough this game with his movement.
Still, a 14,000 gold lead here. Faceless well in the lead. Are there items or talents, something that will give NP an injection? Is there something that brings them more into contention, or is it just purely like getting some counter kills?
There's high ground defense for him. That's why I really look at with their draft now. Very strong when they're playing from their high ground with the Enchantress, with her range, with just the Bat Rider able to find a pick off to start things when you have full vision of your opposing team. May even see a point where they do consider just lassoing XY and pulling him deep into the base. Those is without the 4-star, so actually they can't really make that play. And 0 4-star, the Bat opting for a must-need BKB against the Nyx, but not having a 4-star means your high ground defense as a Bat just isn't what it really could be. And I feel like that is something that NP need to be investing in.
At the same time, Carapace is just such a good way to shut down a bad initiation, so
yeah,
understandably a tough choice for MSS. I imagine wants both if he has the time this game.
And Warlock 2-Porter Farmer 4-Staff has been buying sentries all game, has a gem queued up. The Batrider's BKB coming soon means MSS is going to be a good candidate to hold on to that gem. But down the lane of Rax, Faceless will slow it down, content to not force the issue too much. They know their Aegis is going to be expiring fairly soon, so they feel content with what they've got. Not to mention that lane of Rax and all the map control they've got has extended their lead. They're filthy rich.
NP buying the smoke right as the Aegis is set to expire. Also want to point out, Pylai Dai, ever the martyr for his team, is queuing up a gem in the quick buy. So they look for a solution to this Nyx, and to some extent, I suppose the Invoker goes walking about.
They're going to push out this mid lane. They haven't got Luna on the case. They've got Enchantress slowly pushing out, but unless you push this mid lane, like at least to the river, ideally past the river, any smoke is going to be very obvious to Faceless. So they need to figure out the creep equilibrium right now, but you've got Nyx always hunting for kills. You've got Invoker always spamming out the lanes with his Blink Boots of Travel. You can't catch him because of the Lincoln, so pushing out lanes is incredibly difficult.
Yeah, with no 4-staff, no way to break that Lincoln Sphere at this stage. So Black should feel still quite free to roam, and it certainly helps that the team is giving him a lot of intel around the map. Ice always ganking under Vendetta, a couple of their other heroes usually clumping up a bit more.
He's ready to go bottom potentially, but the blink out from Bat.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
The siege begins rather rapidly as XY has put together an assault cuirass. I think his best game of the tournament, Gods, as far as keeping farm up, balancing fighting and farming, and just not dying a lot. We saw, granted, Bristleback is very tanky compared to Weaver, but a lot more deaths in that Weaver game against OG. But this time he's having a ball.
Yep. Everyone on Faceless has just fulfilled their role, done what they need to do, and it's been really a perfect team play as well as individual play where it's needed. And Faceless are going to starve out NP now. They set up camp outside top lane as well as leaving Ice bottom. He'll keep hunting for kills. The solution really does come from getting a gem or at least getting some wards to try and scout out where this Nyx is on the map.
And it's not just the Nyx. I mean, look at those deep wards that Faceless have gotten down. They really have map control between towers, wards, and invis ganking potential in spades.
And Nyx being missing means you don't want to fight into the top lane because you don't know if he's there. If you know 100% he's not there, you might consider initiating on top, but also means you can't really defend bottom because you've just not got the vision up, and you can't get the vision up because you're stuck in your base. No hero able to really move out other than maybe the Lina, but even that is very dangerous as Faceless even have bought a gem of their own now. Something Ice will carry out. I like this decision. Makes him a lot safer when he goes for these ballsy plays around the map. And with a Lincoln Sphere, good luck trying to catch him with a lasso or a Yule's initiation.
Ice prowling in the front lines. Faceless following their fearless leader as he moves towards the western side of the map, creeping in under cover of Vendetta. But there are sentries waiting here, and he sees them. He also sees that Observer Ward. He'll let XY join him. He does not want to be out of position. Putting the Bristle now in front. The Invoker close beside him. The Dire squad of Faceless begin to press forward. They're going to fish here with the Sunstrike. Get a little bit of extra vision up the hill.
Yep.
And they know they always have the creep equilibrium going their way with that mid lane pushed in.
Faceless can play a very patient game because they've got Pudge. They just got to wait for a hook. They'll keep throwing them, see if they land. Like you say, throw a Sunstrike for vision, see if that finds a hero to hook in, and they don't have to force this high ground. They know they can wait for the next Roshan, keep the lanes pushed out, send some of these cores to go in these gank missions.
You've got Black hunting in the bottom side of the map right now as he looks for MSS on the Bat Rider. Doesn't have the BKB, and Black is going to find him too with the cold snap there. Big opportunity for a pickoff. Pummeling MSS with heavy physical damage. Will he have enough for the kill? Definitely blast back, and he secures it. So it's not just the Nyx. Now the Invoker is a one-man ganking army as well.
And now MB's just like, I'm going to cut some waves or go into the enemy jungle. Like, he doesn't feel safe to farm anywhere near the Radiant base, so he goes to the Dire side of the map. He's like, this is probably the safer place to be, and rightfully so. There's so much Dire vision, and all the Dire heroes are right outside your base because they want to pressure the lane, so Envy can farm the enemy jungle and ideally creep skip some of these waves with his position right now.
Well, let's hope Envy has a TP because they are coming, gods. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Tornado crashing through, won't find anyone, but XY just hitting buildings right now. No tree this game, so this is permanent structural damage that Faceless are applying. And with the Bristle out front, the way they're spreading on these pushes, I have been pretty impressed by the discipline and the positioning of Faceless thus far.
Yeah, still looking for that hook initiation that Jabs hasn't found in the recent times, but you know, you keep throwing them, eventually you'll get one. And if you don't get one, you just go Roche and then go force a siege using the Aegis. But as mentioned, NP do excel with the high ground defense. Unfortunately for them, Batrider's BKB still not up. His death at the bottom lane was right before he had the money for it.
BKB almost up. Faceless in position. They know this Roche is guaranteed to respawn soon. NP do. And I suppose we wonder if they consider contesting at the pit. Like, do you think with the map control being what it is, the state of the game, can they risk leaving the base to try and take that Roche fight?
Yeah, my opinion is they can't, just because of the vision factor. They don't actually know they're in Roshan is the big problem. Enchantress can enchant a creep and send it, but very likely gets easily picked off. And the way you can set up around the Roche pit is you put your Invoker, your Bristle on the Roche pit, and Nyx will just stand on top of the Radiant high ground around their Ancients, pop any smoke, and then immediately initiate on them or just blink out of there. He's got the Lincolns. It's 99% impossible to contest Roche. I just don't really see it working. They're going to smoke, they're going to go for it. I just feel like this is a very low percentage play. For NP to pull this off, they're going to have to get very lucky and play it absolutely perfectly.
And Ice is out in front, at least for now. To break the smoke. He has the Carapace. He blinks out instantly. The BKB gets committed, I believe. MSS rushing in. He's going to find of all heroes XY. That is not really a killable target, at least not rapidly. Thada on his own. He blows his BKB. 2 BKBs and a lasso down. And really no damage done. This is all kinds of trouble for NP. They need to get the hell out quick, fast, in a hurry. And meanwhile, an Eclipse also swinging and missing. I believe the cask was bouncing there as Fada is going to join MSS beyond the grave, dismembered and finished off. A romp for Faceless, making it look easy. Even the Sunstrikes are connecting as they chase forward, looking for more Black there to cut on the off at the pass. Chairman Mao about to be toppled from his throne. The cask will bounce and down he goes. Faceless making it look easy in game one as NP face a very angry Bristle right in the base. The hook is there, threading the needle. Jabs does it again. Faceless in control and about to take the 1-0 lead.
Yeah. Right. It's one of those things I say they shouldn't contest Roche, but giving up an Aegis cheese, they think it's just GG at that point, so they go for the bold play. Eyesight, perfectly positioned to pop the smoke, blink away. His Lincolns even blocks the Laguna, so Lina BKBs tries to focus the Nyx, but can't Laguna him because of that Lincoln Sphere. And it's just GG, LD. Game one is in the bag.
That was uglier than the hype off, gods.
Well, NP are going to have some things to think about going into game number 2. Boy, do Faceless look scary right now.
What a time to find their footing here in front of what is now a home crowd. Now that Clutch Gamers is knocked out. Ice, a fan favorite in Manila. And of all the players on their team, it feels like he is the one that is just coming up time and again with the big plays when they need it, and when they need it the most.
Yeah, he was absolutely fantastic. Him and Jabs, to me, have been the two stand-up players for Faceless a lot of these games. They are playing that playmaking role. We saw Jabs' Pudge set up a lot of great kills, and we saw Ice, the lone ranger this game, so to speak, off just looking for kills time and time again, found setups for the Invoker to get these picks in. Faceless just used the map so incredibly well. They were up against a tough 5-man teamfight heavy lineup that wanted to take Roche, take objectives. Just never became a reality for NP.
I love the diversity as well. We're seeing all kinds of different styles and picks from them. They're not just going like for that Clockwork Shadow Fiend every game. They're mixing it up here, and everything, for the most part, coming up flush. So I guess we'll see what our panel thinks. Cap, that was uglier than your hype.
LD, come on, man. You're just beginning to sound bitter. But Faceless, on the other hand, they're looking nothing but fresh and clean. They've got a 1-0 lead. What is happening with Faceless, guys? They were one game away from being dropped from this tournament, and all of a sudden, they may be going to the final day.
I'm impressed. The early game looked pretty damn good. That's now the second time it happened to them. They had this Enchantress, this Pudge comes out, kind of matches the rotations, gets some big kills in the early laning phase, and they saw, they're like, yeah, we can do that, right? Jabs, you're fine with that? You know, you're back on the floor, you can play some Pudge? Sure, why not?
I think this game shows you why Nyx Assassin is commonly the first phase ban, at least in SEA games. What we saw last game was just the bread and butter for the Faceless that was dominant at least 3-4 months ago. Nyx Assassin finding picks, Sunstrike kills coming through. Now normally it's Jabs on the Sunstrike, but of course as we see, Black is very good on the hero as well. I went with MP, just watching through the draft. I just felt like MP was never able to play their draft, right? Like, it was predicated on a Lina roaming around and getting kills. It was predicated upon a big Luna getting BKB and just winning team fights. That never happened. The Pudge and Nyx Assassin just wrecked them.
Yeah, they just kept hitting them time and time again. I actually have a stat here from our favorite professor. Invoker in 7.05 and 7.06 with Nyx, Legion, or Pudge is 36 and 17 in comparison to all other games, 37 and 65. That is one hell of a stat difference when you have that kind of setup for the Invoker to be able to land these easy Sunstrike kills time and time again.
Just the story of the hero over and over and over again. Lots of teams seeing great success with that, but that's also what we talked about was execution and being able to get that setup and how that was going to be difficult for Faceless this game. And it kind of passed this burden from hero to hero, from player to player across Faceless through the chain. It started with Jabs from the hooks to set up for Black so he could get those Sunstrikes. Then we kind of moved on to Ice 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 once he had the levels to set up for the Sunstrikes via the Nyx Assassin. And then late game, they just had to tie it all together with XY to make that big siege.
Yeah, my favorite play of the game was when they were chasing Nyx and Witch Doctor just came in and it was the true bongo. It was back and forth and they put out the Death Ward. Not only did they get the kill, the Nyx Assassin also made it out. So, I mean, Ice 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 definitely MVP, but Nuts had a sick play that game as well.
They had so many situations where they just worked so well together. Faceless, they're just one game away from that final day, one game away from being in that lower bracket finals and facing up against Evil Geniuses. Can they close it out? We'll have to see after the break. We'll be right back.
The hook is there. Fada's got to cancel the TP, and still, despite 2 whiffs, they might have a chance at this kill. In fact, Fada's looking very caged and very trapped indeed as Ford come in, but Fada makes the most of it. He'll take Nuts with a start for Faceless, but MSS wants some vengeance for his fallen comrade. He's going to get the lasso off here on Witch Doctor, following up, chasing forward, going for the 2-for-1 special. The Eclipse comes in, but Chairman Mao, actually, they just have the range with MSS.
Being a go-to build for Fata. We'll see if Ice 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 can get out.
Nuts is coming in as well. A well-placed cast might be able to change the equation here. Bounces it through, and now the Death Ward flies. It bounces back. It keeps on bouncing back. Jackie drags the cast in, and when they want to take this one, can Jabs find that initiating hook? Centaur's there, scouting things out. They're going to send XY in first.
You'll give the Lina.
Prepping. He got is there. He reels him in. Big catch by Jabs. See you later.
Initiating with the Yules. They got hooked right away.
MSS running in, but the Carapace stun is there to hold him in position. Now the Bulb Sunstrike. Impale comes through, but they need a little bit more firepower. And XY looks to deliver it, charging forward. Oh, that Pudge is going to tank Laguna. Will go down. Do they get the trade, though, killing off the Bat Rider? He's quite far on his own, but Envy comes in with an excellent flank. The Moon Rider 5-man maneuver forward. It's Ice once again. He starts it off. The party begins. Could be in a bad way too as MSS is isolated. That means no lasso initiation, though they do get up a decent rock. They'll bring down Jabs with it, but the Pudge not really the most important hero in these larger scale engagements. So Black re-engages now, fights the Tornado, EMP as well. A fairly ineffective Eclipse from Eternal Envy. Doesn't hit them the nuts kill, but that's about it. Still not breaking down those more crucial targets, and XY charges in. He's gonna force out the NV BKB. There's no way you kill XY yet. You're gonna wait out this pipe, wait up.
You got the skills and the knowledge. You even know your way with your game. Yet, you ought to fall. You fail. So what? Stop the drama. Don't give up just yet. Get up and do what you gotta do. If you're saying you gave your best, show it to the world. Prove it to yourself. They say tough times never last. But remember, tough people do. Now go out there. Unleash that inner beast. Surprise everyone with your capabilities. And whenever greeted with failure, face it fiercely. Stand firm and say to yourself, one more try.
Push, mid lane.
How to win a guy the saucy way. Babe. Wanna eat?
Bounty Fresh Saucy Tori Karaage. Lean, tender, irresistible with 2 rich sauces.
Push! Push!
Babe.
Huh? Wow.
With lots of appetite appeal. He just can't get enough of. He'll keep coming back for more.
Babe,
Yes?
pengi pa.
Bounty Fresh Saucy Tori Karaage. Saucy sarap in an instant.
A big part of the culture down here in the Philippines. I've never experienced that before, and I'm sure many of you have not either. So I thought, why not we go to one of these LAN cafes and kind of get the download from the locals. Let's check it out. Hey, when I'm from, it's only not here, baby. Open for you. And this is the most important part, right? Of all Dota fans. Oh! That's sorry, that's terrible. I'm sorry, bro. Nice try, though. Let's find somebody to teach me some skills here. Okay, now this seems weird, because you're playing support. I heard support did not exist in Southeast Asia.
Oh, yeah.
So you're one of the rare support players. Teach me some shit talk. What do you type? Type in a...
Yeah, I like that.
Boboka?
Yeah. With a K.
Oh. Boboka! You want to type something toxic in chat right now? No. Come on, bro. Oh, shit. You're in the middle of a game, dude.
No, it's okay.
What do you mean?
I can wait. Yes.
We win, we lose it, we're on the same team? Oh, 2 supports on the same team. You're a noob? Doesn't look like it. We're at a 7-3, you're not a noob. Boboka! Okay, everyone look at me. I thought that was normal. You guys said that was normal stuff. What the hell? All right, so that is what it's like
Welcome back to the Manila Masters. It is the final series before we head into the final day. Faceless going up against Team NP in what has been quite an interesting series so far. Faceless already taken the 1-0 over them. And I have to say, looking back at that game, as I bring in my panel, both Trent and Luminous, guys, I felt like we were talking about NP and they were like, oh, they always have this twist. Where was the twist? There was no twist. That was an expected AUI Enchantress. We had a Fada Lina that was kind of the normal MSS Bat, right? It was kind of like everything we kind of expected from Team NP.
I feel like that was the whole thing, right? It was just kind of dangling there. You know, you take away the twist when you just leave that Enchantress. Everyone else is just like, no, they can't have it. Don't give it to them. And so NP were like, oh, we gotta do it. The twist was gone.
I thought the twist was them playing the Enchantress, and for the first 5 minutes, it looked pretty good. Remember, the mid tower just went down like, what, 6 minutes into the game, which is super fast. And then they had the double Bugatti strat up top, taking down the top tier 1. That was sick, too. I was like, oh, this is going to be the Enchantress strat, but, you know, the mid game just rolled around and they got rolled.
All right, well, one player who has been performing excellently for a Team NP has been MSS. We have an interview with him now.
It's actually a pretty horrible name, honestly. It's Mojo Stormstout, and it's a character from Warcraft 3. It's a panda. So, yeah, it's actually the worst name. Bulba told me, your name is shit, and you should just make it MSS. So I was like, yeah, I'll go with it. And that's pretty much what happened. Honestly, I want to change my name, but I can't think of anything. I mean, the thing is, like, I think we would be the generation of miracles too. That's the thing. I think every team can be a challenge, of course. You know, we play against OG first, and they just won the major, so of course we're gonna be giving them some respect there. So it was probably OG. To be honest, I'm actually pretty confident, like for the tournament in general. I think we can do really well, and I'm not afraid of OG. Like, sure they won majors and whatever, but I'm not afraid of anyone. Yeah. I'll take them head on. We'll just play Dota and win, right? That's the only way, pretty much.
Hey, don't worry about it, MSS. I happen to like the name Mojo Stormstout. After all, you shouldn't be taking shit from anybody named Bulba. Bringing back my panel, Luminous and Trent. Lumi, I'm actually going to go to you first here.
Are you going to ask me about the Generation of Miracles?
That is exactly what I want to ask.
So there's this basketball team, right? And they're super dank. And then they graduated and they split up.
Okay.
That was Generation.
Is that like MVP Phoenix?
I guess.
Graduated, split up. Does the team come back together at the
I
end
hope I
and
got the
form a
reference
super-
correct. It's been a while since I watched that anime, so.
Okay, then how about a different anime? If you had an anime, Luminous, to suggest to Team NP, if they had, say, a half an hour break or something, what would you tell them to watch right now to hype themselves up for this game too?
To hype themselves up. I don't know, the anime I watch are pretty emo stuff, so all right, next question. Let's move it on.
But Trent, you've got an anime for me, right, buddy? Right?
We're like the only ones, eh?
No?
No, we don't have anime in Canada. It hasn't made it yet.
I know some One Piece. One Piece with the stretchy
They
arms.
took all the anime in Canada. They clear out the stores before I can get there.
He wears sandals. Oh wait, that's ice action.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
you tried.
If we don't have an anime solution, how about a strategical solution for Team NP?
They already got one because they were scared of OG. And
Okay.
Faceless took care of them. So, I mean, yeah, you lost game 1, but at least it's not OG, right? I'm sure NP can bounce back here, right?
I think a large part of is how much confidence they have in their own draft. Because last game, they had a draft, they had a strategy going into it, they never got to execute it. Because the laning stage just got so bad for them, they fell so far behind. So my question is, are they going to be confident themselves and pick the same thing? Or are they going to just adapt and then change based on what Faceless can be throwing at them?
Is there something? Because the Enchantress has got to give you some good laning phase. Was it the Warlock? Was it what was it about NP's early game that you didn't really like?
I think they had some trouble just in terms of like transitioning because they had this Enchantress and they were knocking down these towers, the double catapult was pretty great. But then when we get to that next step of the tier 2s, I mean, once they cleared out the tier 1s, both of the mid and the top, they were still at a deficit in terms of net worth, which is not exactly what you'd expect when you got a tower advantage so early on in the game. It felt like taking fights was extremely difficult for them because of the way Jabs was able to overperform in that early stage. They gave that edge. And from there, how do you come back there? It would rely totally on MSS getting a lasso, immediately into Laguna Blade, getting a numbers advantage, and then rushing from there. They had no bristleback. They had no hero to give room for these heroes to try and get a little bit of sniping in from the side, and now we're already into a Clockwork, who is an initiator like Pat Rider, but rather than grabbing them and taking them away and forcing the fight somewhere else, this guy, he gets up in the face, and he will be that target for Faceless to actually look at.
Luminous, it seemed like I kind of agree with Trent. The bristleback was a bit of a problem for them. Like NP being able to make that transition. Surely it was Bristleback that was like the hero that caused a lot of the problems in being able to translate. Okay, we go from this laning phase and taking tier 1s to fighting them in team fights and taking tier 2s.
Yeah, I think that was one of a softer game from Fata. If you had a bigger Lina, she could actually build into that Silver's Edge and be that mid-game counter to the Bristleback, which of course we never saw because the Lina was having, I believe, a negative score by the end of the game. So. Yeah. Again, hard to say whether it's Bristleback, you pick it, you win the game, or whether it's MP unable to execute a strategy.
I would say this was actually the first time I believe they've played against a Bristleback in a very long time. Surely not over the past 2 months or so. So this is a hero that definitely brings a different facet to the game. He has very specific counters that you might want to look towards. You need like some sort of a strategy where you're locking him down in place. You have that chrono, everyone focuses from that angle. And that's what we said at the end of the draft. Like, they had the lasso, but when you're dragging them like that with Bat Rider, that means that your other heroes aren't in the position to make use of that stun. So all they had was he gets finally dragged back into an LSA, and they have just that one stun duration to actually lay into him.
The other thing for me last game was, I mean, we all knew ISIS was able to roam around and get a lot of kills, but the surprising thing is how early he was able to do it. Because I think the Warlock plus Luna was really unable to kind of zone him out and shut him down. He was able to exit the lane with an early level 6, and he was able to get a lot of kills before the sentries came out. In this tournament, we saw a lot of Nexus doing the same thing, but they would run into sentries and then just feed. But Nyx Assassin, I don't think he died at all when he's on his hunting missions. So I think that just shows you that MP was super pressured last game, and they were unable to lay out the sentries in preparation. But this time around, they're going to pick up a core that was like both of these heroes already very, very tanky to begin with.
It seems like Team NP giving a lot of respect to the Crystal Maiden and Clockwork. We saw that actually ban away in the first one too. This time around, they're actually going to take the Clockwork for themselves. Crystal Maiden makes its way into Faceless with the Pudge. They also get the Bristleback, as you said.
Oh, black duo. Oh my goodness, that was a blue steel look right there. Yeah. That was very nice. I'm excited to watch a Pudge again. I am okay with the Pudge meta. That's fine by me. It's going to be able to hook people out of cogs if they get in some serious trouble. And we'll see if he ends up matching some of those rotations of a possibly position for Clockwork, or maybe we'll just grab another different hero here for AUI. Is still 3 bans in, no Enchantress, no respect here from Faceless.
I think the respect might have been lost given the situation last game. But Pudge has been extremely impressive for me this tournament. I said that it has to be an execution-heavy hero in the mid-game, but Japs was hitting all of the hooks, and not just the offensive one. He was saving allies repeatedly away from the Bat Rider lasso. So we're going to be seeing cogs going in, trapping maybe a Crystal Maiden or whatever, and Pudge is going to pull them out. So Pudge really good on both sides of the court, offensively and defensively.
Wouldn't it be interesting if we wound up with a Clockwork SF up against Faceless, a team that's been abusing it oh so much? For now, still remaining, but with the Bristleback already in the front lines, that would definitely be a super early game kind of just push in and run at your face, but it could end up being an option. 5-man Dota up against the Pudge, someone who can just collapse on that hook target.
I think it's really, really hard to play Shadow Fiend mid when there's a Pudge on the other side. In fact, it was OG that took out Faceless' Shadow Fiend in game 1 of the series. They just smoked around Rod, made him lose half his soul early on. So it's a bold pick. Fata is extremely good on the hero. There's that, but I'm not sure if you want to pick it into a Pudge.
Yep, understandable.
We talked a lot about Silver Edge, right, being the counter to the Bristleback, and he is going to be kind of the problem hero, the thorn in your side, pick up Silver Edge. What are some other ways? Could we see some teams try and do a little bit of like mobility action? Is there anything else that you feel is strong versus the Bristlebacks that have been seemingly dominant in this patch?
Any sort of like percent based, if you can manage to grab that with higher HP pool, can be good. I think Death Prophet can tend to be a very good option, but you do need a lot of control to make it to work in those situations.
Or you could kind of fight around him, kill everyone else first. We saw the Chronosphere being employed, although there were a couple of blank ones, so maybe that was a little bit rough.
What about the Storm Spirit? I remember that was one of the bans by Faceless. They picked up their Bristleback.
Yeah, someone who's not worried about which side he's facing. He's just going to zip right to the other side, abuse it every single time, try and negate that passive. Not going to be able to answer any sort of that Silver Edge or anything like that, but could set up for even a little bit of damage from a position 5 or something like that. Come up from NP.
And wasn't it Vada's Ember Spirit?
Yep.
In that one game where they was just kind of able to dance around this Bristleback all the time.
A worthy ban because of it as well. Just makes it very difficult for, like, it would have been kind of good for Pudge to roam on. You know, you think of an Ember, you're like, oh man, that's a hero that I just want to walk on this guy and rot on the whole time. But respecting Fada's skill, he had some unbelievable plays with that Arcane Rune in that mid-fight earlier today.
Yeah, using multiple Fire Remnants to dodge, like auto attacks, Sleight of Fist to dodge spells, that sort of thing.
We still have Glorious Warlock left here for Team NP. Could be a consideration in terms of our top position 5s that remain.
Oh, we're going to see AUI Keeper. I'm excited about this one.
So that probably means we'll be going into an MSS Clockwork then, one would assume. Unless they, you know, it's kind of greedy to have like this super or is like kind of greedy Clockwork along with the kind of greedy with the Cupid Light, but it was a combination we saw a lot from Escape Gaming, and then we also have the Call of Bristleback, which is another very popular combination. So checking off the boxes here for Team NP, and Faceless, they take something that they liked, the Bat Rider.
I think the Mana League in particular is going to give Pudge quite a bit of work. Like, he already has mana issues to begin with, even with the Crystal Maiden and giving the Aura. In team fights where there's a lot of chasing involved, a good Mana League into a Blinding Light combination is going to be quite good. Now, the quote-unquote downside is that you picked up a Keeper early enough where Team Faceless could adjust with heroes that either A, don't care about Blinding Light, or B, are natural BKB buyers, like a counter, or Manta buyers who counter the Blinding Light. So you lose a little bit of equity there, but I still think it's a very powerful hero in MP. Also, when Team Liquid was playing this in Shanghai, they actually built a lot of early Aghanim push strategies involving the Lone Druid.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think NP will pick the Lone Druid themselves, but they could actually go for a pushing strat as well.
Yeah, it looks like they have something lined up here too, just because like that Timber Band taken away, definitely a hero that thrives against the Coddle, not too concerned about that blind. The Juggernaut, he has the spin to get rid of it, he builds Manta. A classic Faceless hero would have been the Slark, but that is something that they were giving to Black quite a bit, someone else who can purge off. It can also deal with cogs in some sense, but also kind of a counter to the Bristleback that we haven't seen too much lately, but they'll go with another hero. He's going to have that Rage to take care of that blind, so he can at least deal with it a little bit, but we do have some BKB controlling through the hook, and also just, you know, Lifestealer, Bristleback, it's kind of goes both ways.
Yep. What about the old NP? The Naga Siren NP. You know, the NP that like to use their Song of Siren head into all these team fights, get this beautiful setup. That was the NP for me of the previous iteration that was the most interesting strategy.
I like the Sven Invoker NP. That was the dream. First 2 every game. That was the strat, I tell you.
I think it's hard to have a big wombo combo with these heroes so far. Ooh. All right, C is getting excited. No, that is not a jungle LC. We're gonna see it in one of the lanes, I hope.
Wait, what? Where else do you put this thing? Yeah, no, this is, again, we're going to have the Keeper and the Clockwork, so I'm not sure how greedy AUI is going to be able to be, right? He's going to have to probably do a little bit more than just jungle away the whole time, but that's fine. The hero's still good. Just going to be a little bit slower pace this time, and MSS will be on that lovely Legion Commander who not only nice for controlling up that Lifestealer, but he's going to have to press the attack to help out against the Pudge and the Bat Rider.
How are the lanes going to shape up? You were kind of mentioning MSS is playing the Clockwork, but there is a possibility now that the clock does move back to a 4 position here.
Oh, you two are adorable. So
That
surely
gets
this
him
is
for us.
this is what, aggro dual lanes? I think that's
Aggro
the best
dual
way
lane,
to lock down a very strong roaming support duo. The Crystal Maiden and Pudge, right, is put a threat that is constantly in going in against that safe laner. The Keeper of the Light and Legion Commander maybe is a duo, but
Could
I
also
feel
be
like-
just the Keeper and the Bristle as well.
Yeah, could
being able to use the Chakra and the Quills can be just unbelievably difficult to deal with. That does kind of leave Clockwork in an awkward situation. Those would be the very interesting roams that come out here.
Calm down there, sir. Don't give yourself a concussion before the main event.
Team NP. So we had our Queen of Pain band out. Looks like Faceless also assuming this is going to be a Fata hero coming out last. We did indeed lose the Naga, of course, the way Faceless were able to close that one out up against OG. Not looking to have the same fate here.
Just as I predicted, on the opposite.
50%.
Whoa!
Oh.
Well, that's certainly a twist.
I was gonna suggest something with burst damage to take advantage of the duel. This does not give you a lot
No,
of
it
burst
doesn't.
damage.
Yeah, they really are lacking that, actually. This is definitely the long engagements, the Razors, the Bristlebacks, the PLs. Those are the times that they're willing to thrive. But someone who can jump over the cogs, you know, sometimes your own allies can get in the way too, so he'll be able to make his maneuvers around through these team fights. Also, very difficult to lock down from the Pudge, but OD! Someone who's willing to clear out those PLs instantaneously.
All right, so I'm gonna tell you how I think about this draft. Faceless has got the better draft. VL is an unproven hero. We saw TNC pick it in the last game against Liquid. They got thrashed in Shanghai.
Yep.
OD is gonna get a good lane no matter where he goes. With all of that said, I'm an NP fanboy. I'm an anime fanboy, so I'm gonna go with NP.
I don't know, Black, he had quite the performance on the OD the other day, not gonna lie. He's gonna be up against the Legion Commander, so he's gonna have the saves there to help deal with the duel. I'm feeling it 2-0 for Faceless.
All right, Trent, I'm going to go ahead and agree with you as well. I'm going to go back to the words of the beloved Aaron Chambers. Who could go wrong? Good old dirty. Pass it over to our casters, LD and Gods, for game number 2, Faceless versus Team NP.
I gotta agree with the panel here, Gods. This is the day when anime dies. Faceless looks like a
Death to anime.
clearly more stable draft
Yeah.
for them. I'm not buying it from Jackie Mao and the boys.
PL's like, that's the hero, you know, no one believes in him. This is the anime storyline. They're going to be putting on Fata too. They're running in the mid lane. If I think PL and NB, I'd be like, oh, that's an NB hero, but this is like a SCA style thing. It started saying that TNC used to do, run this mid PL against like Invoker type heroes. Okay versus the OD, but not anywhere near as good as some of the other matchups where he used to be picked.
Well, we'll find out soon enough. Of course, on the side of Faceless, for the most part, pretty comfort picks at this point. We saw a lot out of the Japs Pudge previously. The OD's been a stable mid for them as we momentarily enter the field of battle. So how does NP take this game? I feel like they're kind of disadvantaged by the draft, though. We haven't seen much of PL. It's hard to say for sure. But like, if they're going to win, what is the key to that success?
Prepare for
Probably
battle.
strong laning. That was the big reason Legion was one of the top off laners last patch, was just how good he was in lane. So running some strong dual lanes, like sending the Coddle to the off lane. Clockwork will probably be roaming around, maybe helping the bottom lane initially. And yeah, doing well in the lanes. You want to hit this like early game item timing where Bristle gets very hard to kill, same for the Legion Commander, and play around their strengths. But it's very hard to find kills because of the numerous saves on Faceless' side. They've got the Pudge Meat Hook, they've got the OD Astral. They have ways to get out of those rotations and ganks from NP.
Looks like there was an early smoke commitment here by NP. But
Get down those level 1 wards undetected and try and scout out your opponent's lanes, because it does look like NP are going to be running Legion in the safe lane.
To battle.
Putting Envy up top on the Bristle, so maybe more like a kind of the off-lane-ish Bristleback, but definitely a more comfort hero for Envy, while the Legion is very much an MSS hero.
so yeah, it's going to be the safe lane Legion, as you mentioned, up against the Bat Rider of Ice Ice Ice. Takes a quick slice of those blades. Now it looks to add on to the pain here with the Battery Assault level 1. Doing some decent damage, Jabs. In possession.
Battle begins.
I think that is one thing to point out here. Is I don't know that it's as good of a Pudge game this time around. God's PL, not really a great hook target. He can usually get away. Clockwork, often you hook him and the Battery Assault makes you pay. You can't easily get off Dismember in fights. So I'm not convinced Jabs will have quite as easy of a time making big plays for the team.
Yeah, last game there were squishy heroes, Lina, Luna. You hook one of these, you rot, you dismember, you get a kill with the Invoker. This game they're tankier frontliners. He's maybe more effective as a defensive hero this game, able to save teammates if someone gets hit by a Clockwork hook shot. You can then hook him out or hook the clock out. Either way, it kind of can save one of your cores. But in terms of offensive power, yeah, he's not going to be anywhere near as effective as we saw last game.
They do have that cute combo of an Astral and potentially no hook as long as you practice the timing.
Yep.
Should be close to a guaranteed hook, assuming creeps cooperate. So it is the dual lane up top. Envy going to be running the Bristle, a very irritating lane for really anyone to deal with constant mana. The Bristle should be able to spam those quills freely.
Yes.
Not going to be fun for a Lifestealer.
Lifestealer, 1 base armor, not fun at all against all the physical damage in this draft and the unlimited mana we'll see on the Bristleback. Has got the magic stick, but ultimately Bristle doesn't care about giving you magic stick charges if he's zoning you away from the CS in lane.
Yeah, what a dream magic stick game with a Bat Rider on the enemy team as well. So Crystal Maiden starting off in the woods here. But as the lanes stand, it doesn't really look like Faceless have much kill potential here early on. Going to be much more reliant on either smoke ganking and catching someone entirely off guard. And I guess that's where you look at NP's cores, and these are tough gank squads. The Bristleback's tanky, so too is the Legion, and PL does have a nice escape mechanism, even if they head on mid. So it really feels like it'll be win through just out farm rather than through fragging early.
Yeah, both bottom and top lane are good lanes for NP. The mid lane is the one lane where they probably won't win. You can already see in the CS, PL a little bit behind the OD. Does have a couple more denies, the base damage that he gets, but now Fat is being forced under his tower, making his life a little bit more difficult to CS. Although he is doing well so far with the Quelling Blade. He is not missing any of these last hits. Okay, I say that, I jinxed it. Sorry, Fata, I won't say anything else.
PL with the Quelling Blade and a poor man shield. Definitely, and a good attack animation, one of the easier heroes to last hit on. Part of the reason I think why we did see a resurgence in the past of those like melee agility heroes mid. Most of them have good attack animations, most of them have pretty high base damage, and they all benefit from the Quelling Blade. But actually able to pull ahead in CS, so seems like it's going all right so far. What's not going all right is this top lane though, as Envy finds an easy first blood. Rolling through Nuts with the help of his Keeper of the Light. Jab maybe trying to turn things around. And meanwhile, bottom lane, Ice also getting punished. He takes the battery salt cogs. He stands his ground for now, but it seems like they really struggle to deal with this top lane. Jabs, pitching, and not going to find a connection. Indeed, those Quills punches such low base armor. Getting punished with the goo. It's another kill for Envy. Almost feels like tri-laning this is going to make matters worse, gods.
Yikes. Oh boy, they've got 3 heroes with 1 base armor. The CM, the Lifestealer, and the Pudge all suffering in this top lane.
Time to buy up those rings of protection.
Yeah, absolutely. Get something going to give you some extra early armor.
It's actually starting to look pretty bleak in the lanes for Faceless, as they are not winning out in farm either. In fact, they're losing in that department. They're giving up kills. They seem likely to, at best, continue to fall behind in CS, if not give up more. So perhaps they're going to have to start to look towards either some lane adjustments or towards catching up later on, because right now it's not really working.
Yeah, the Clockwork's done a good enough job of securing bottom lane for Legion Commander. So yeah, they're winning a few of these lanes, and Jabs is trying to make some moves perhaps soon. Has a hook.
He's going to find it too. He pulls AUI into the wrong side of his own cogs. The backup is in the neighborhood, and Ice looks to make the most of it, but no way to cancel TP. Sayonara, says AUI. Makes it out easily. And XY, meanwhile, being pressured top.
He's not getting anything. He's spent money on like consumables.
Perhaps mid they can go. Fada does not have any mana right now. Rare opportunity to gank him. Nuts is going to set up shop. He does have the Frostbite here. Should be enough for the kill unless rotation will come in. Even Radiant Scan coming out, trekking those trees, but, well, Nuts came from the north, so it's not going to help.
Went for some CS before he died. Didn't even pop his Fairy Fire, accepted his fate, and goes down as Black continues to do well in this mid lane. But that is the one lane where Faceless are doing very well. Bottom lane's like so-so. You're not expecting your off lane to necessarily free farm, but you compare the 2 off laners, the Bristleback doing incredibly well, or if you compare him to the Legion of MSS, who's in this lane, also doing incredibly well.
So with NP having that powerful start,
We do see Faceless strike out and look to mix up the lanes. They're going to smoke towards bottom. Eyes on MSS. Legion Commander with the 10 sick charges and about to grab her phase boots. Indeed, will do so now. Suddenly gets a whole lot more difficult to gank. That move speed is not to be trifled with, and Ice already forced to pop is very far on the way out. Can Jabs even man-fight him? MSS with 3 heroes surrounding him. The hook coming through. He gets 1. He's got too much heal. He's even going to be able to salve up. They
might get more.
Are not respecting him. Meanwhile, top lane, there's also a dive. He's going to look for an additional kill. Give me a second one, he says. It's duel time, baby. Slow auto attacks. He will win. Lives to tell the tale. Limps away. 311 victories. Closing in on a very dank total. Whew.
That is...
Well, Legion Commander is tanky. That is for damn sure.
MSS Dota right there. Yeah, gets a 1v3 double kill.
And they're looking for more. XY in a lot of trouble top with those quills stacking up. A TP will save him for now. But Gods, you mentioned, well, mid lane at least going well for Faceless. PL's still farming a lot, so really it feels like at best it's a draw mid and they're losing everywhere else.
Yeah, that's NP have set things up that they didn't mind if mid lane isn't a win for them because they are dominating the other lanes. They will lose AUI here. Or will they? The Cox push? Not going to be enough.
Almost taking one with him. 3 Faceless heroes low. These kills are just so hard to come by. And in the meanwhile, bottom lane, MSS, another duel win. He's got the bonus damage to go with it.
20 already?
That's big.
That is dangerous.
That's like a free talent almost at this stage.
Black at mid's being pretty heavily pressured as well. Does have a ring of health for some regen, but with how low he is, he just needs to get the hell out of that lane and go heal up potentially.
The annoying thing laning against PL, just the constant chip damage and spam. And OD not really a hero that wants to be leaving the lane and going for runes if he can help it.
Big concern continues to be XY. You typically pick this Lifestealer because he's a self-sustaining safe laner who doesn't really need much help, has a lot of good matchups, but Bristle is one of those few really bad matchups, and with the dual lane, he's being completely destroyed. Doesn't even have his phase boots up. Is going to be playing catch-up for quite some time. You do not pick a Lifestealer to play catch-up as a carry. You pick him to get his early items up, go look for the rotation as an Infest Bomb.
All right, the one hero that can actually secure them kills is Black, and he's going to make the move to top. On to Envy he goes. He's got decent armor too, so he can survive this quill spam for some time, but they need a little bit of extra firepower. Nuts in danger here. The quills come through. They will destroy the 2 supporting cast, because really at this point, that is kind of what the lifesteal is reduced to. Black will at least get Envy, but hardly feels worth it. At best, like an even trade there.
Envy even was alive for the 2 kills to get experience and some gold. You see Black 600 gold. It's kind of amazing for Black because it turns into like a solo kill for him, so he gets a huge chunk of gold and XP, gets him up to level 8, but in terms of where the Bristle's at,
it's a tough game to be the only farmed hero, though, when you're up against the Legion Commander, a Clockwork, 2 heroes that are very good at isolating a single farmed core. So
that was such good play from Envy to get himself into those trees, prevent the Astral, and buy time for Cuddle to charge up that Illuminate.
But it just shows that Faceless recognize, like, these lanes are not working. If they just sit in the lane, they're going to get outfarmed and probably give up kills. At least with ganks, they can maybe get trades. Or so they hope. As a lasso TP is attempted, Pylite die. It's enough with the follow-up quills. They get the kill, they force out the lasso, and they can now look to take the tower. So really, NP just continue to pretty much have their cake, eat it too, and do whatever they please with Faceless.
3 heroes come in bot, but they're not looking to fight this one Faceless. They just show the Lifestealer, look to get him some additional farm. He gave up on top, TP'd mid, quickly realized PL's just going to spam him out of mid, so now he's found himself in bottom lane. There is no real lane for this Lifestealer other than perhaps the jungle at this stage, but that's a very passive way to play, and you'll just start losing towers falling further behind, so we'll see how this bottom lane will fare. But with a blink on Legion, this is a very dangerous place to be.
2K net worth on the Lifestealer. Batrider still a long ways off from the blink. And that's the one thing you look at for Faces, like, oh, maybe they can come back into the game with Infest Bombs, but those won't even be a possibility for quite some time, as XY is in danger here bottom. There could be a duel any moment. MSS with the blink. Meanwhile, mid also, some pressure. PL. And perhaps got out of position. They're going to find Fada to start things off, though. Black is low. He tried to bait him in. The Blinding Light will bring him back to safer ground, and Jab's unable to connect on the hook.
Interesting, he didn't go for the jump at bottom lane. I believe MSS felt there were heroes behind the Lifestealer, and
they were actually behind mid. So
yeah,
just unfortunate.
Still, all in all, fine for NP. They're getting much more farm. They're pressuring all the lanes. Envy going deep at top. We'll see. Oh, he's brought in the Legion top. They're looking for another jewel here. This is a play that I doubt Ice is expecting.
He hardly can even stay in experience range. He's so afraid right now. Even if they don't get the kill, they're still doing a lot of work. He's going to come in with the Firefly, but a quick purge by the Legion, and they look for the chase. The Goo's there, the duel connects, and now Ice locked down. Duel win number 3 for Mojo Stormstout, who is looking rather stout after these fights. I don't know if I've seen a Legion have a better start.
Doing incredibly well. Black Amit's going to have to get himself out of there as Bristle's rotated in, perhaps just done with this top lane, ready to start pressuring this mid-tier 1 tower. Black is farmed, and as well as he's perhaps done in this mid lane, the one strong point for Faceless, he is not ready to fight. Just some null talismans and treads in his inventory.
MSS will tank that tower as much as possible, get maximal creep.
He can TP home and then get recalled right back in. This is such an efficient way to play for NP.
It's a very good play from a head lineup. You know, every lineup obviously wants to be ahead, but NP can really exploit that more than most because of the keeper.
They're ready to defend this one, LD.
Highlight die. Will scout out jabs here to start things off. They can get in range for that duel. Blinding Light's going to set it up. MSS coming through. Is it going to be duel win number 4 for him? You betcha. Plus 40. The hits just keep on coming. XY will get the trade-off here on Highlight die, but he cannot take a fight at this stage of the game. Meanwhile, Envy. Oh, Envy. That's a big freebie to be giving up here to Ice. Didn't look like he had any help for that either.
Solo kill. Envy must have just been low HP, and
that was like a 2.5K net worth.
Savage ranked.
Bat Rider against 5.7K Bristle.
Ice like that one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he realizes that's not a kill that should be happening.
Yeah, definitely a little freebie, but he'll take what he can get considering the position they're in, and kill or two like that and things don't look quite as bad. It's definitely a Faceless draft that is happy to go late game. They've got good save, they've got the initiation from a Bat Rider, and heroes like Bristleback known for falling off the longer the game goes. They haven't got good sieging on the NP side. They've got 4 melee heroes, 3 of those their core heroes, so they're going to need quite some items to scale late. But what they have got is great map control mobility. They're going to go for a Boots of Travel first on Fata. They can just ping-pong around lanes, using the recall, using this Boots of Travel. They're going to constantly look for pickoffs, try and get this Legion Commander super, super strong with bonus damage. He's going to be perhaps the main building hitter as time goes on, and going into an armor, I think he recognizes he's actually in some ways more of a carrier than his other cores this game.
Faceless so reliant on the OD to do anything in fights. Like Lifestealer running in, realistically, he's going to get dueled, bounced around by the cogs, or just kited by the PL. Even the Blinding Light a problem when the Rage is not ready, and he's just not strong enough to find quick kills. So really, they need this Bat Rider blink. That's how it's feeling. They have to find the blink, and they have to find pickoffs on the back of it. As Ice sweeps around bottom. He's going to see Envy, and he looks to make a go here, but there is a tier 1 available, guards. I don't know if they can commit to this. They're going to try lassoing him back, purging off that lasso immediately, and then going for the duel. Could be costly. Flame Break, not enough. They lose MSS, MSS actually combining with XY to get the kill. Another duel win, plus 50 damage now for Mojo.
Oh, hook in, jab.
Doesn't even get this kill. I don't think so. I think he just feeds one away. Jabs is too far behind. Make it 3. Feeling like it's all free right now for NP.
Oh, absolutely. This is chain kills, or chain feeds, however we're going to call them, coming out. As Faceless giving up a lot of ground. MSS is going to shrine up. He'll be ready to go pretty soon again. May even look to smoke up with this team.
You think about how big those duels are, that's almost a relic right there.
There's a lot of damage to have just 14.5 minutes into the game. The response from Faceless is really just to keep trying to get this OD farm. Try and get those infest bombs happening with the Blink Dagger you mentioned on the Bat Rider. Until that point, I think Faceless have to be a lot more careful. You can't kill that Bristle fast enough at bottom lane. The Legion TPing in first. They don't TP some Coddle, some Clockwork. They make sure it's the hero that can save against the lasso that is TPing in that scenario.
Shab's having a fish again, but with that observer ward on the high ground, those kills are, or those hooks, I should say, are difficult to come by. MSS closing in on the arm you mentioned. Has a second component ready. Only about 1,500 or so off. The Blink's still a ways to go for Ice Ice Ice, so Faceless feel a little constricted in their movement. Have to be careful where they gank, and not only, even if he gets the Blink, there's still not a lot of great lasso targets, and the mobility of NP means like you go for that lasso play, very likely someone will be there to try and counter gank and turn the fight around, so they will take the risk. They're going to roll the dice and head towards bottom. Highlight die, definitely the easiest kill this game, but already he TP's out.
I believe they saw this smoke because they had that ward very deep in the mid lane. I think they saw some heroes go missing. They scanned the north of the smoke, which is where they're like, okay, are they going to come and smoke gank us at top? No, they're not. This is a free tower. And they also then know they're moving bottom. So that was a very well-placed observer ward, much deeper than Faceless expected, scouting out the smoke, and then they combine it with the scan to know exactly where Faceless are on the map.
So Fada getting pulled all around. They're able to shove the top lane in, rotate right back towards mid. Clearly the team that will be able to shove these lanes a whole lot better, at least through this stage of the game. Did see Black go through for the early 4 staff life, so now grabbing the armlet. So no real greed to speak of on Faceless. We don't see Midas's coming out, feeling like they need at least a little bit of punching power to stand toe-to-toe with NP.
Yeah. They've got to respect this clockwork initiation as well. Like, they've got the Pudge hook, but not always going to be reliable.
MSS making his move here in the top lane. Probably the one duel that is hardest to win. I thought I was in the neighborhood, but meanwhile mid lane, they look for this opening. AUI 2000, only a support, sure, but they'll take whatever kills they can get, but even he is not a possible grab without that blink, so they're just really struggling, Gods. They can't seem to find these openings.
Yep. Can't take towers, can't find takes. I mean, it's going to come with the ladder first. They're not going to be able to take any objectives until they start finding some kills, and the question is how they do that. And we keep talking about this Batrider blink. It really feels like they're just going to keep on biding their time until they can get that. As much as you'd like to, the fastest way to get that blink is to like smoke up and create some gold income through getting kills, but that just hasn't been working for Faceless, so SSIS is just going to resort to taking out some Ancients and jungle camps.
Slow and steady for NP. Not feeling like they need to hurry at all. They just drop those aggressive wards, patiently wait for our duel opportunities. Still up, and up by a lot. 9,000 gold. Their advantage increasing at a rate of almost 500 gold per minute. Very happy with the start they've had. XY gonna raid and TP out, and with all these outer towers up, NP able to project force very easily all around the map.
They're gonna, their overall game plan is to keep all lanes shoved out and create pickoffs from this. They've got great lane push with the PL who's going to be going to the Aghanim Scepter, the Keeper of the Light Illuminate, of course. And when you have all 3 lanes pushed out, combine that with their mobility, the recall, the boots of travel, it's so easy to find pickoffs and take objectives like Roshan. Your opponents are always going to be visible on the map, or if they're 4 or 5 heroes smoked up, it's very obvious because you push lanes to towers. If no one's defending a lane of creeps and getting farm at a tower, it becomes very apparent what is going on. So complete control in NP's hands. But they've been in this position before. We saw this earlier in the tournament where they had this kind of a lead and struggled to close out games.
And do you feel like this could be one of the same types of games? Does Faceless have the type of lineup that can turtle it up and potentially just punish NP mistakes later on?
I mean, Pudge and Batrider are very good at doing that because it's hard to break high ground against these heroes, but what they do have is a Legion Commander. So he's got the press the attack as a save.
Yeah, we've yet to see a successful lasso this game. Yeah. It needs to be said.
And Lifestealer is not a hero that is going to be effective at all as a high ground defense. If this was some actual like better scaling carry or a good high ground defending one, you'd be like, all right, maybe they'll fumble the high ground push a bit and you can see some comeback. But Lifestealer not really going to be best at that. He is going straight into a Maelstrom, wants to be able to deal with the PL a little bit better. Hey, farm some PL illusions. That's one way to get back into the game, but realistically, he's got a long way to go. Blink is up. We'll see what Back can do. It was scouted by a rocket flare though, so NP should be ready for this one.
Fada joins the fray, surging onto that tower. Hurricane Pike now complete on Black as he chips away at Envy here, but you can see it's slow going for him. The lasso engage comes out, but do they have the fall damage? Can they make anything of this lasso? MSS brought to about half, at least forced away. They are able to pop the Aegis, but now round 2 cometh. They will converge onto Envy.
A lot of
Still
it.
Very tanky. Yeah, Black
44 stolen.
Will hit pretty hard.
I think they have NP need to respect this and back off. That ultimate will destroy them if they're not careful.
So, a well-constituted defense. Faceless able to crack the Aegis, get the end, and not lose anyone.
Draft-wise, the best thing Faceless have going for them is an OD against melee cores. They do not deal with this OD well at all. If he can, it's very easy for him to stack up into using this Hurricane Pike. Melee hero hitting your tier 3, you Hurricane Pike him, you hit him 3-4 times,
Here comes the
and
smoke.
you get the int.
Worming their way through the river. NP sneak onto the high ground, just out of range of an Infest Bomb that was lurking. Pi off to the side in the trees. Lunging forward is Eternal Enemy, and there's the duel. They find the opening, and they will take down Jabs immediately. The tower lays open to them. 64 plus damage as Fada surges in too. He's going to find Nuts, potentially gets pushed back by the Blinding Light, almost helping him escape, but one more lance will do him in. That Crystal Maiden is mid-speed at this point. Hammer dropped, and it will be a somewhat successful one, bringing down AUI and opening the path as XY charges forward. They are so afraid of Black, they back off even further. Fada fencing around from the sides, but his illusion's dropping fairly quickly. Still Black, laying with those auto attacks. They lock onto Fada. Can they bring him down? A good purge, removing the open wound, but he's low. This could be huge. Dismember coming through, and Black jumps in. He sees an opening. He doesn't quite have the kill just yet. He's got to stay focused. Fada surviving, eventually will fall. The trade is in, though, as OD drops. So too will the life stealer. They get MSS, though. Quite a chaotic skirmish, but ending a mega kill streak on MSS. Not horrible for Faceless, though. It looks like they're going to lose more here. The hook shot comes out. TP away. The hook looking for the CM, looking for the full 5-hero wipeout, but instead means they get neither kill.
Yeah.
The dust settles, though. It's still a pretty hefty lead for NP.
Yeah, still very decisively ahead there. PL, Fata made a really nice little micro play. After that doppelganger, he sent the illusions running, left his real hero standing still, so it ended up taking a lot longer to kill him. And as a result, OD gets jumped upon and taken out. The one hero Faceless who don't want to lose. Great initial ultimate from Black. He was just about to lose all that in. When he threw that ultimate, he still had about 40 stolen int, and then 5 seconds later, it was down to like 16. So he used it right as that int was about to expire, making sure he got maximum value out of the spell, but even that was not enough for Faceless to come out on top.
Well, they buy themselves time, you know, and if they're not giving up kills as the game progresses, this 11k gold lead isn't nearly as big of a deal 30, 40 minutes in as it is right now at 23. Yep. So they'll try to wait things out as best they can.
It's going to get tough when the BKB start kicking in. Envy's got his early on against the OD. Actually, Legion get one as his next item. PL not really a hero you'd expect to get one. Probably to see a standard like Diffuse or pick up from him as his next item after the Ag Scepter, but see what he has in mind soon enough.
Faceless come a marching down bottom. Black, the lead actor in this play, at least for now. So we'll see some more items streaming in for NP. Grabbing the Aghanim Scepter on the PL. So we've got that bouncing lance to worry about now.
Big thing for NP is they have to think about how do we approach high ground now. They're definitely going to find themselves with all the lane push, the big lead they've got, in a position where they should be able to secure the next Roshan without too big of a contest. And once they've done that, how do they legitimately break high ground? What items do we need? They're going for the BKBs. Do we need something to do with the Batrider Lasso? Do we need to start thinking about Lincoln Spheres? High ground push is going to be the toughest part of this game for Team NP.
Now, they also, to go with that, do have the Solar Crest on the Bristle. You already have the Legion to somewhat deal with the Lasso, unless he's the target, obviously, or unless she is. And on top of that, they have the Keeper of the Light Egg. So these items that NP are building largely do feel well-suited to attempt to breach structures and work their way into the high ground.
And to go with that, how do you stop the OD like dominating a fight, which is going to be the BKBs and...
Well, ideally, you duel it.
Yeah, that's the dream.
That's the dream.
See whether Faceless allow that one. XY's a hero you can just ignore. He's still so incredibly underfarmed, just 7k net worth. He just
Dyer's
completely ignore him. Doesn't need to be addressed. You don't want to hook him. If anything, that's like a bad result because he can just turn around, rage, hit the clockwork. XY's goal is to try and catch someone like the Coddle in these fights.
You just kind of jump in the Batrider and hope that he puts you near the Coddle when he blinks in.
Exactly. I think he has to. He can't really walk into fights. He has to use one of the vehicles available. Really just the Batrider at this point.
You could go inside the OD, but even with the blink dagger, I doubt Black wants to play too aggressively.
I don't think it's in Black's interest to go into the fight if he has those, but
probably more of a defensive blink so he can jump away if Fada attempts that initiation. Or sorry, MSS.
Good synergy with the Astral because you can always do that Astral yourself, blink escape type play. Although there is a cogs to hit you on your way out, so maybe not always entirely reliable. MP just going to be waiting out that next Roche as mentioned. That's kind of like their bread and butter strategy. Just keep lanes pushed, secure Roche, and set up for that high ground push by getting wards up. Make sure you get Roche first, and then after that, make sure you have these BKBs ready to go.
Nuts is in danger bottom. Goes for the TP out the rockets there. Hook just a split second late. But it's fine for NP. They take the tier 2 mid in the meantime, so all outer towers eradicated from the map. Faceless in danger of getting bottled up, and now they're going to look for the jump here. They do get the duel off. It's a lot of damage being pumped into this OD. Another win for MSS, closing in on plus 100 damage, already up to 78 here.
That's
averaging like 3 bonus damage a minute this game.
Yep. That's where this MP draft, I think they're feeling, is going to be all right to hit high ground the longer this game goes. They'll rely on MSS to just keep finding picks here and there, and as time goes on, he'll get plus 100, plus 150. They really need more and more damage. It'll come from him, and he'll be the one to hit these buildings at a very powerful rate.
Yeah, that with a Bristle with an AC, and all of a sudden a lineup that looks pretty mediocre, and Sieging is actually pretty damn good, and you've got a Coddle healing them up with the Illuminate spam from behind. And, perhaps even a PL poking a bit as well. So, yeah. It's starting to look a little scary for Faceless. Now down 16,000 gold. No real pulse. I think that's where I worry is we're not seeing Infest Bombs. We're not seeing Explosive Farm. We don't see Greedy Midases to catch up. Like, really, in just every aspect of the game, it feels like they're losing now. They're likely to continue to get out-farmed. There's a siege brewing. They have a difficult time fighting the Roche with the map, the vision that NP bring to bear from their map control advantage, and if there's no obvious way out of this box. Another duel, and another win. That's the beautiful thing about those goals. The more you win, the easier the next one gets. It's one-shotting ranged creeps now.
Yeah, they're just pulling heroes around the map. It's so easy to find these pickoffs when you've got recall, boots of travel, and they're going to actually start tipping this high ground. The Batrider is the dangerous hero to push against, and with him dead, they feel like they can make this play.
Black engaged with the Hurricane Pike once that's stolen in, but the Blinding Light is going to look for the punish. They got to hook him back. Goes for the self-Astral. Will buy himself a bit of time. Ice not opting to buy back yet, and there's where the Blink Astral play does come in.
AUI mid with the cogs. Not sure if it was on cooldown.
So they will sack at least the range tracks here. Envy laying into that with the help of Fada. They'll bring it down, and remember, Duel is about to cool down. It's a very low cooldown. Already online again, so Faceless, be careful Black doesn't get caught. And we are content with this range racks. They'll back away for now, but you gotta imagine they'll be coming back for more soon.
Really see maybe some of the reasons behind this PL pick. It's very hard to use the Pudge. You can't find meat hooks because there's so many illusions to go through, so.
And you can't really dismember because you're gonna get hit by a battery assault or a cog, so. Yeah. Really, he's just, not offering much this game.
They know where they are. They want to jump.
They find the opening here. Envy would be a decent kill. Is that going to be the target they choose to engage on? He gets off the BKB. They look for other openings. Lasso! Not even coming out. Ice just goes down like that. XY will be next.
BKB
is slaughtered. It's 4 dead.
That
barely even felt like Faceless had a pulse in that fight.
That was the last hurrah in my mind. This was our opponents might be roaching. Let's smoke up, go jump them. Faceless had the element of surprise, but BKBs, OD does no damage, and didn't even, I mean, he sees Envy, he's like, oh, I can't go Envy, he's too tanky, he's got BKB, so he runs past him, finds Legion. Oh, he also has a BKB, he's also too tanky.
Dyer's top barracks are under attack.
Well, it ain't looking good.
No.
Up 1-0 in the series, but looks like about to have to give up this game unless they can make some spectacular plays. Jabs does get off that hook initiation, but with no lasso follow-up, they can't really drag NB far enough back. And I think he can honestly even tank those tier 4s and still walk away. Remember, there's the Legion who can help heal him on the retreat. So Faceless now down a full lane of Rax. And MP playing this one methodically. As you can see Fada shoving in that bottom lane. Doesn't want to allow any opportunity for Faceless to take tower. Still every outer tower standing at 30 minutes. Almost unprecedented, I want to say. I don't know if this has happened once this tournament. It's certainly a rare sight in any patch. I feel like especially in 7.06. AUI sees the opportunity. Hook in and hook away. So Jab's at least able to counter that initiation.
Can fall back and take Roche now if they want to. Leave Fata maybe pushing out some of these lanes using his lances. He's going for a butterfly next. I like this. OD, the one damage deal on the Faceless side, does not really have any good solutions for evasion. I mean, Lifestealer as well, like, he's going to struggle against evasion, but he's not dealing damage to begin with, so less for him, more for the OD, but great against the entire draft. And there we go. Straightforward Roche. Nothing Faceless can do to contest it. They are exclusively going to be defending high ground at this point.
Here comes another jump. Black, is able to blink on time.
A bit far away and perhaps slow on the duel there. Misses one, but
I don't really know if they need the BKB to initiate these fights. Frankly, they probably don't even need a kill. They can just look to hit buildings. But obviously, getting that OD out of the way will just will basically roll the red carpet out for NP to come and claim that second lane of Rax.
Definitely see OD was a great pick this game for Faceless, but the other lanes just fell apart too hard. There was nothing they could do because of how poorly the bottom and top lane matched up. And perhaps caught by surprise. Typically NP have run the Bristle in the safe lanes. It was in NB's hands, but it was an off-lane Bristle destroying this Lifestealer.
I mean, could Faceless have laned it any differently? Were there any adjustments they could have made earlier that you see?
Send the Lifestealer Bob, but I think that's a tough lane too. Clockwork, Legion. There was no good lane for this Lifestealer. Felt like a pick that was suboptimal against this Bristle. And then the Legion got picked up, I believe, after the Lifestealer, but still not proven to be a very, very bad Lifestealer game. I don't think you can fault anything XY's done in terms of his play. I think he's had some shaky games. You saw his Weaver, but I don't think he's done anything wrong. The hero of this game was just heavily counted.
Well, I have Scotty now complete for that Phantom Lancer. A little bit of install in here, but Black is going to need a lot more than that if he wants to solo carry this fight. Already structures continue to be chipped. Illusion swarming in on XY, and he will do his best to deal with them. Did go for the Maelstrom for that bit of clear, but it's not going to help you too much against these beefy frontline tanks, as Black continues to rack up the stolen in. Self Astral for now, and Jab just being eaten alive in the tree line. He's out of mana, he's out of options. I think those illusions just kill him. A freebie, and now the blink. The dual opening initiation there. It's a quick, decisive kill. Black's down, double buyback, but Faceless just a corpse at this point, waiting to be put 6 feet under. And NP will oblige them momentarily. Sieging the structures here. Envy wailing away at that tower. A 32,000 gold advantage at 34 minutes. Almost 1,000 gold per minute advantage being claimed. Faceless about to go into a game 3. Envy will take that second lane of Rax. Black stealing what he can, but always knowing that one jump by the Legion and he is donezo. It's just the cooldown that he can play around. The melee falls here too, and
just not getting enough in. The Bristle in front has the Solar Crest, so the little bit of evasion preventing OD stacking up enough in. He really needs like 40, 50 stolen before he can throw an ulti. Nice hook dodge from Father, quick reactions, and the blinding light as well. Miss. Black just cannot.
I mean, you go in for an Infest Bomb and you walk away with
another duel.
Another duel initiation, another victory for MSS. Absolutely out of control. Jabs sheds a few tears as NP force it to go to a game 3. An ultra kill for Mojo will put it out of reach.
Some exquisite laning from NP this game. Just crushed bottom and top. the mid matchup didn't end up mattering. Like the PL, I feel like could have been any hero this game, and it was kind of nice to prevent like some of the punch hooks later on. But ultimately, wasn't the key hero for NP. It was that bottom and top lane where they just demolished Faceless. And as good as the OD pick was, perhaps against this draft, they needed to secure those other 2 lanes.
I think we underestimated the power of admin guns.
Making it work. Envy and Co do not want to go out just yet. We get a game 3 though.
Should be a doozy as this one concludes. It's been 2 fairly one-sided games. Game 1 was slightly closer early, but we haven't really gotten that, like, you know, white knuckle, down to the bitter end, back and forth punching match that I think we're all hoping for. So do we get that slugfest for Game 3? Well, before we find out, we'll have the panel break it down a bit further.
Well, I certainly hope for LD and God's sake we do have that nail-biting game number 3. After all, you wouldn't have it any other way between Faceless and Team NP. Trent, Luminous, we actually kind of all thought that the draft from Faceless looking kind of good. Did we all underestimate the power that NP was able to bring to the laning phase?
I thought for sure that the Kato +1 lane, whether it's LC or Bristleback, was going to do fine in lane. I'm surprised that MSS was able to get a 9-minute Blink Dagger after face boots. I did not expect that kind of performance there. And he was able to get solo kills even before the Blink Dagger came out. So I think that was the big wrench in the plans here.
I mean, can you blame us for trusting the Jabs Pudge? I mean, the guy's been on fire today, definitely not able to get those same rotations, and we kind of talked in game number 1 about how it was a very balanced draft that came out from NP, and then Faceless kind of matched that balance with the last pick in the Invoker. This time, it definitely felt like they went all in. They went for this Lifestealer pick, they wanted that momentum, they wanted, okay, we're going to go, we're going to lasso, we're going to Infest Bomb, and it was all going to be the snowballing, like how do you stop this big 5-man that comes with the OD? But that never happened, and then that's how you wind up with a 20,000 lead near the end of the game, 30K. It's just, it looks pretty ugly, but a lot of it is just because that early game plan didn't go the way they needed it to.
It was very interesting, the NP with this kind of older school pickup, right? The Phantom Lancer versus a Lifestealer, and so he's constantly dealing with that core. And then we had this Legion Commander from MSS who was always locking down the OD. It seemed like they just had the individual one-to-one counters to these heroes.
I also thought the Pudge overall was countered very well, because traditionally what you would like to do against Pudge is make sure your 2 side lanes are extremely powerful so that when the Pudge leaves, the lane gets punished. We saw that Bristleback continuously killing the Crystal Maiden up top to a point where even when the Pudge came back, he also get killed. I really like the mid adjustment, the PL. You talked about the good matchup against the Lifestealer, but I thought in comparison to game 1, remember Lina was the hero there. You get a Pudge hook there, that was a dead Lina inverse. Instead, I think PL died once when he was caught out of mana, but if PL has no mana issue in that mid lane, he does not die. So I like the adjustment of picking a rather defensive mid laner that could escape from Pudge gank. And for me, Pudge was really stranded early on. Like, where does he go? Can't really rescue any lanes, can't really gank mid. And that's really where the Pudge really falls off when he doesn't have that good early game.
Yeah, and that was what was impressive too, because Fata recently coming back, right? Coming back to play the mid role, so I'm sure he was practicing a lot of these heroes and everything, and then suddenly they just throw the PL into the mix, so maybe something they've been going through.
Maybe he asked for it, you know?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I got the PL, don't worry,
I got
man.
this, guys, easy. So with the Bannoed on the puck, on the Ember, they're maybe thinking, okay, these are some of these more like, or one's the early game annoyance of the puck, trying to hook that, one's the mid game annoyance, but I can't say I saw the TNC-esque PL coming here in the mid game.
All right, gentlemen, that concludes game number 2. Game number 3 coming up between Faceless and Team NP. We're going into the late night, Manila. Stay with us.
Them kills is black, and he's going to make the move to top. On to Envy he goes. He's got decent armor too, so he can survive this quill spam for some time, but they need a little bit of extra firepower. Nuts in danger here. The quills come through. They will destroy the 2 supporting casts. He's going to see Envy, and he looks to make the go here, but there is a tier 1 available, guards. I don't know if they can commit for this. They're going to try lassoing him back, purging off that lasso immediately, and then going for the duel. Could be costly. Flame break, not enough. They lose MSS, MSS. Actually combining with XY to get the kill. Another dual win, plus 50 damage now for Mojo.
Booking jab.
Does he even get this kill? I don't think so. I think he just feeds one away. Jabs is too far behind. Make it
free, but one more lance will do him in. That Crystal Maiden is mid-speed at this point. Hammer dropped, and it will be a somewhat successful one. Bringing down AUI and opening the path as XY charges forward. They are so afraid of Black. They back off even further. Thought of fencing around from the sides, but his illusion's dropping fairly quickly. Still Black. Later with those auto attacks, they lock on to Fada. Can they bring him down? A good purge removing the open wound, but he's low. This could be huge. Dismember coming through it. Black jumps in. He sees an opening. He doesn't quite have the kill just yet. He's got to stay focused. Fada surviving eventually will fall. The trade is in though as OD drops. So too will the life stealer. They get MSS though. Quite a chaos. Find the opening here. Envy would be a decent kill. Is that going to be the target they choose to engage on to get something BKB? They look for other openings. Lasso. Not even coming out. I'd say Sunish just goes down like that. XY will be next.
BKB slaughtered. Nice one, but the quick reaction. The blinding light as well. Miss. I just cannot.
I mean, you go in for an infest bomb and you walk away with another duel initiation, another victory for MSS. Absolutely out of control. Jabs sheds a few tears as NP force it to go to a game.
Push, mid lane.
How to win a guy the saucy way. Babe. Wanna eat?
Bounty Fresh Saucy Tori Karaage. Lean, tender, irresistible with 2 rich sauces.
Push! Push!
Babe.
Huh? Wow.
With lots of appetite appeal. He just can't get enough of. He'll keep coming back for more.
Babe,
Yes?
pengi pa.
Bounty Fresh Saucy Tori Karaage. Saucy sarap in an instant.
I'll see you in 3 months, hon. The kids, they're gonna be okay. Love you.
Dad! Need help?
Okay. Can you pass me the back wrench, please?
Here you go, Dad.
Here, Ratchet.
Here.
Impact wrench.
Here, Dad.
How did you?
Look, Dad, we got you! You're live!
Our connection's now made even stronger. PLDT Home Fiber. Plan start at 1899.
Thank you. Have a good one. Sweetie, you can't let her in. Bring Princess back outside, please.
Okay, Mom.
Hey buddy, time for homework. Playtime is over.
Okie dokie.
Don't go too far, sweetie.
Never lose sight of what's important to you. Watch over your family at home, online, and on the move. Get added peace of mind with fiber, home's most powerful broadband.
Ang ganda, anak.
Wish you were here, Ma.
I am, anak. I am.
Be there like never before with Smart's newest and fastest LTE network.
Push, mid lane.
How to win a guy the saucy way. Babe. Wanna eat?
Bounty Fresh Saucy Tori Karaage. Lean, tender, irresistible with 2 rich sauces.
Push! Push!
Babe.
Huh? Wow.
With lots of appetite appeal. He just can't get enough of. He'll keep coming back for more.
Babe,
Yes?
pengi pa.
Bounty Fresh Saucy Tori Karaage. Saucy sarap in an instant.
Hello there, we are back at the Manila Masters, and you know these guys, right?
Yes, I do. There's Neil, there's Manjeet, and Butters.
All right, gentlemen, you guys are our shoutcasters. Now, those of you at home, you might not know, but in the arena, they are actually speaking. How do you say it? Tagalog. And these are your Tagalog boys. These are the ones that are the shoutcasters, the local ones. So,
it's really amazing. The Filipino crowd is really, really awesome.
Of course, do you think they prefer to hear it in Tagalog?
Yeah, of course, because the Filipino pride, you know Manny Pacquiao?
Of course,
Yes.
of course. It's all Manny Pacquiao.
It's like Manny Pacquiao.
That's the only thing they care about is Manny.
It's like Manny Pacquiao and Clutch Gamers.
All right, now I need
That's it.
to hear some examples because I've never heard actual casting in Dota in Tagalog.
All right.
Just give me a quick team fight. Coordinate.
Ay, naku po, nakikita natin si Mongo Sorat. Naku po!
Ay, naku po, Black and Rugby!
Lima! Ay, that's Jules! Mr. Jules! Just like that.
Hell yeah!
Just like that.
You guys kick
Nice to
our...
meet you, man.
You guys kick our caster's ass! That was amazing! You're so quick! You got the energy!
So tall, man.
All right, give me some words. I need to learn some words that I can yell out during a Dota match. Can you teach me some stuff?
We got this word called cinco camote.
What does that mean? Is that a bad word?
No, it's not a bad word. Don't
All
worry.
right.
It's Cinco Camote. Can you say it?
Cinco
Camote.
Camote.
When a team got wiped out.
So how do you say it?
Cinco camote!
Cinco camote!
Cinco camote!
Cinco camote!
Cinco camote!
Cinco camote! Wow, jeez.
Well done.
You are missing out if you were hearing the English broadcast. These guys bring the hype. Gentlemen, it was an absolute pleasure. And
Dude, this guy is called the action slacks of the PH.
I'm
Is
sorry.
he right
Thank you. All right, thank you so much. Thank you. Nice to meet you. All right, we're good. So first up, we're at the secret shop. It's outside, and it's a beautiful day. How do you deal with the humidity? It's doing strange things to my head.
I know, it's all right. You just let it happen.
You
know?
just that's
It's good for the camera.
Oh, I like that. All right, let's talk to some people. Sir, hello. What is your name?
Justin.
Justin, what are you buying here at the secret shop today? What are you hoping to get?
A bag.
A bag? What bag?
String bag.
String bag. What's the design?
Kineski logo.
Oh.
The Mineski logo. Look at you. You're just selling out for the program. Well done. Yeah, the greatest quality of bag. All right, we got another one. Thank you, sir. Hello, what is your name?
Hey, my name's King.
Get in here.
All right, here you go.
King, what are you buying here at the shop today, King?
I want an EG cap.
EG cap?
Yeah, go EG.
Yeah, EG fanboy?
Yeah, Sumail.
Sumail? What is it about Sumail? Everybody loves him. Why do you like him so much?
I don't know, he's young and then he's very good. It's just inspiring and you want to play Dota when you
That's right. You're the next Sumail, right?
You also
I wish.
aspire to become a pro player?
Yeah, but I don't know. It's not for me.
Not for me.
Not for you.
Better just buy the pro player stuff and then call it that.
Yeah.
All right, great.
All right.
Well, all right, let's keep moving on our tour. We have much more to see. What's up with chicken in the Philippines? You guys are crazy about chicken. I've gone to 4 different chicken places. Of course, Bounty Fresh is the best. They sponsor the event.
Yep. Yes, sirree.
What's the chicken obsession here? What's the deal?
I'm not sure. Maybe because you can find it everywhere.
And they're gigantic?
Yes.
They feed hundreds of people per chicken?
Muted chicken.
Well, it continues to be a mystery. Let's continue.
Yes.
All right, so we've been in the front, we've been in the secret shop, we've been in the chicken, and here we are at the stage. This is the big one. Huh? Oh, it looks pretty good, right?
Yeah, definitely. And you can see the trophy right there in front of the players.
It's so close you can go up and steal it for us, right? Go ahead. No. Hey, how about we talk to some of the VIPs down here and see what the experience is like? Hello.
Hello, guys.
Right here. What is your name, sir?
Nigel.
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 Nigel, what do you think about the VIP experience, bro? You liking it?
Things are a little harder up in that high ground.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. That's a lot of excitement. There we go.
Almost there.
He seems to enjoy it. There we go. Let's find somebody else. Pick somebody else.
All right, I pick.
So they're going out. You just...
Busian!
Ruslan?
Busian!
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 All right, good.
Arthur, my boy!
Can we try to get a Busian going with the crowd right now?
Busian!
Busian! Yeah, it didn't work. All right, thank you, sir. And we must go. So that will do it for our tour. Thanks for watching. And we'll see some more of you soon. Yeah!
We're going late into the night here in the Philippines, and yet the crowd still maintains a pretty good packed level. I have to say, I love being in the Philippines, man. I love the passion they bring, and for this series, Faceless versus Team NP, so many of these fans are riding high in the hopes that Faceless can actually get themselves to the final day. But can they actually push through into Game 3? To that, I turn to my analysts, Luminous and Trent.
Can they do it?
Can they do it? I don't know. That's the question I'm asking you.
I definitely, I have to believe, you know. They've had a tough road. They just took down OG. They're a hard squad to tackle, I hear these days. Heard they've won a few things. Loomis,
I mean,
are you feeling it?
The performance against IG from MP this morning was very impressive as well. So if we're talking about believing, there is only one man we need to trust in. It is the Sama himself.
Yeah, this was not supposed to be the matchup. This is
No,
not what everyone had
absolutely
to
not.
bracket, yeah.
If you went by the traditional analyst metrics and looking at these teams, we would have said NP and Faceless should have been the first teams out. They would have been gone away, and we would have seen the big dogs coming through. But no, these two have battled their way through the losers bracket, maintaining the hope that they can actually go through the final day, maybe even win this whole thing, and secure themselves an invite
to TI, and that's what's really the big thing on the line here. $250,000 and the TI spot at stake.
I feel like what we got from both of these two games are it's extremely lane-centric, right? Whoever wins the lane, at least for the first 10 minutes, it feels like just easily snowballs and completes the victory. So I wonder if both teams will draft in a way where you focus more on the lane picks, or are they going to pick up a hybrid defensive lineup that even if they do lose the lane, could turtle up, make high ground almost impossible for the enemy team to come on. So we'll see how the teams will adapt.
I wanted to focus on the first picks too, especially the Clockwork. I was wondering exactly how that was going to round out this. And yeah, they are going to take it out this time. So I think if they don't have first pick, NP aren't ready to let that go over to Faceless, which I think is a good decision. I think Faceless would have picked it 100% because they're not going to give it this option now with AUI. Like we've already talked about the Brewmaster, we talked about our Sand Kings roaming, our Nyx Assassins, our Clockworks. It's other teams doing it too, but when MSS is that good on the Clockwork, you just have to address it the whole time through the draft and keep that in mind, even if it's just going to wind up being the support. So very favorable for Span here. And Faceless taking a moment to think about it. Well, yeah, the Coddle did a ton of work last game, and this puts a lot of pressure on MP to take the Bristle right now.
Are they going to do it? Bristleback kind of suffers versus Keeper of the Light at the same time, right? It's both the dynamic duo as well as the oppressive force against the Bristle wanting to run around, keep his mana intact.
Yeah, until you get to that Lotus Orb, which is more or less a luxury in the kind of mid and late game. The Mana League will control you. Is Kato and Bristle the new IO Wisp? Have we gotten to that territory yet?
It could be, at least for this series. We talked about it very early on. Bristleback, both these teams like to be able to run it. High value. Team NP. Another hero that's kind of left out there. Clockwork was banned, but the Crystal Main still remains intact, and there's plenty of 4 positions to still work with them.
Well, if you're Team MP, you know that at least a Night Stalker's not coming out. At least from Team Faceless. So
That's
hey,
true.
we could eliminate 1 hero out of the over 100 heroes.
No, Lumi, hear me out. They both get Aghanims.
Oh.
They always have clear vision.
I mean,
the
that
next
is-
level strat.
That is the Slacks 5K analysis.
Bristleback and Enchantress instead of our Crystal Maiden. Enchantress actually has a little bit more value, right? Because Keeper of the Light, he's kind of operating this space where heroes like Witch Doctor and Crystal Maiden are usually occupied.
True. It's also very rare to have Blind be so impactful on the support, though, I would say. So which is something Enchantress is going to struggle with a lot with the heavy range. But finally, a Timber. Man, this hero just getting, second phase, it feels like every single game. Never get to see the poor guy. And now the Ice 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 Timber, much like that Nyx Assassin. Banned first phase for months in SCA. No one else even succeeding that much other than Abed at that time on that Timber Saw. And teams just weren't even willing to look at that guy in a game against Ice Ice Ice. And we've seen highlights for years of him just taking a hero from 90% HP, you feel like you're safe, instantaneously comboed perfectly.
Now, the last time when the Enchantress was picked up, we saw MP took out, I believe, Weaver and Juggernaut on the second phase. They want to limit the cores that are hard to gank, right? You don't want Enchantress to roll up with some creeps, the gank fails, and Enchantress just walks back in the jungle. And I would kind of classify Timbersaw as one of those harder gank offlaners here. A lot of your creeps are going to be fairly ineffective in both killing him or just zoning him out. So I feel like this Timbersaw pick, you generally see Faceless kind of wait till you know that he's countering multiple heroes. But in this game, I think he's such a hot pick because the Enchantress is already revealed.
So strong right here. Even up against the Enchantress too. And Timbersaw, a hero that likes to get boots, but he's also someone who wants to get like this Blink Dagger too. So just having the natural bots from the Keeper of the Light and that mid-game to move you around the map, instantly get these ganks, really elevate, much like Ice 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 was setting up for Black via the Impales into the Sunstrikes. We're going to have that same situation here. The recalls, bringing in the Timbersaw and trying to shred people up. MSS moves out on his Bat Rider. Understandable.
And then that Sand King being banned away by NP.
Feisty crowd tonight. Oh, we got an NP fan in the house. All right.
I mean,
I see a Drow highlighted on a pick screen there. That's a scary thought.
Drow Ranger for which side?
Oh, it's MSS looking at it. Maybe he's just admiring her. The visage. Just Toby levels of beauty.
There's a reason when I was casting with Toby, I changed it something like Swallow It.
I thought I could avoid that on this panel. I thought I was safe. Thought this was the serious mode.
TI8 Manila, please.
I'm down, honestly. I'm okay with that at this point. They've earned it, you know. They've been through the night. They come here early, you know. You guys see the start. It doesn't look like they just make fuel, but they filter on in. Once they get out of bed, they're ready to watch some Dota. Speedburger are going to be taken out here. We saw a lot of success just yesterday up against Clutch Gamers with that. Warranted ban here, and pretty good against the Enchantress. Someone to control that Bristleback.
Oh, that's a hero that's been picked a lot.
Yeah, it's your answer to Timbersaw. You know, you force those early kills. Static Storm is decent. My concern moving forward is whether they have enough damage to kill the Timbersaw. Enchantress give you a punch out of the support position, but until she gets some big items, she doesn't provide too much of anything when it comes to damage output. You're having a smirk, Cap. What are you laughing about?
Disruptor just not been having a good time this tournament.
Yeah, and if they get ahead too, you know, we were talking a little bit in the break in terms of like how the teams might want to draft or what the focus would be, and last game definitely felt a little all in there for Faceless. And once they got behind, it was very difficult. Now you can imagine too, NP, if you were to get behind, Coddle pushing on in, Disruptor, he can suffer a lot. But at the same time, if NP, now they get up ahead, you get that and one, you know, you're taking objectives, someone lingers a bit too long, they're glimpsed back, another kill.
They've got good heroes for it too, right? The Enchantress kind of shores up your laning phase quite a bit, which is where Disruptor can be a little bit weak. And then the Bristleback is sort of that mid-game hero that you don't want to fight into. So if Bristleback is kind of running at you, the Disruptor is able to maximize his efforts. There goes that Witch Doctor, so we are going to have both Keeper Blight and the Witch Doctor on the same team.
One of the rare support counters, I would say, to the Bristleback in terms of the Maledic, just to help you burst through that guy as much as possible. Make the most out of your damage, helping with the Death Ward too, and then again, yeah, up against the Enchantress. Disruptor, perhaps the Vision heroes, nothing really helping him here, but that does often come from your offlane role. MSS's Clock is gone, Spat Rider's now gone too. We do have that Night Stalker still in the pool, the Silence up against the Timbersaw, the Vision up against the Keeper of the Light. Possibility, but not something that we've seen from MSS quite yet.
Oh.
Good call, Trent.
We got him.
Good against the Kato as well.
Yeah, so many counters.
Yep. Against Timbersaw in particular, you want repeated sources of stuns or disable. So having the fear or crippling fear as well as the low cooldown of the Void is going to be quite good to kind of block him down repeatedly, make sure you punch him through.
Yeah, you just wait till he attempts his Timber Chain, right? And then you cast Void and a little mini stun stops him in his place. But this does put us very, very early to mid-game focused, and we were just discussing it before game number 3. We kind of thought that both teams would give themselves some sort of out, you know, to get a little bit of late game. Under the pressure like this, the last thing you want to see is like, oh god, we messed up in the early game, our strategy's gonna fall a little bit flat, and we just won't be able to close out the game. This kind of seems like the opposite for NP, unless they pick up a hardcore late game carry.
Yeah, I definitely feel like Faceless can still draft outs. I don't think they're fully committed. We already talked about Witch Doctor actually against Night Stalker being a pretty good hero for that early aggression, early dives under towers, especially with 1 or 2 heroes joining him. The cast can do a lot of work in those situations, so if they wanted to get a safe laner that was relatively survivable, we talked about the bans on the Weaver and the Juggernaut. Both those heroes are still in. There's also the option of just trying to get a matchup with the Timbersaw versus the Night Stalker, which I'm sure he would not enjoy. But maybe not the most survivable, but with the Timbersaw not needing too much help, there's going to be plenty of supports for the Terrorblade here, and they also have some options in terms of the laning, I'm sure, with Black being very good on the hero as well.
Well, I think we are going to see a Fata Queen of Pain if Faceless does not take it out. You have some sizable burst damage, which I believe MP is currently quite lacking, especially against Timber and now Terrorblade. There's a lot of targets that you need to just get a quick burst kill. And Queen of Pain is one of those heroes that scale extremely well into the mid and late game, depending on her kind of item pickup. So we'll see if Faceless do care about the quad, or do they have a more important hero they want to take out?
Yeah, I agree. It's very tough here. The Ember as well, the Fata hero. The Puck is also still in, but it feels like Ember, he's very survivable, of course, once you get to that mid-game. He moves around a lot, but he doesn't have that heavy burst, and he would have a pretty hard time. The Puck, maybe a little bit of an in-between option between the Ember and the Queen of Pain. Someone who offers a significant amount of burst, but also an element of control, whereas Queen is like full damage.
MP takes out the Sven. Were they going to Timber Sven and Terrorblade? That seems exceedingly greedy.
Probably like a black mid Terrorblade, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, Team Faceless, they actually have a really large amount of high ground defense between the Keeper of the Light, the Timber Saw, the Witch Doctor. I heard that the Queen of Pain, and I thought, you know, that sounds really good, Lumi, and then it's kind of like,
How do you
what
break high ground?
Yeah, how do you break high ground against this team?
That's a concern as well.
Do they? I almost feel like they have to get a later game here, like a Storm Spirit type hero, just because I wouldn't trust myself to be able to crack open a Keeper of the Light Timber Saw duo.
Okay, they're gonna take out the Tinker instead.
Similar idea.
The Axe Laser being able to pierce through all of the illusions. Another hero good against illusion will be OD, but I guess if you're Team MP, you wait out to see what the matchup is, and then you adjust from there.
Yeah, actually, we've talked a lot about Tinker too in terms of this hero, and maybe a little surprised we haven't seen much of this tournament at all. But that is a perfect ban. The Laser Refraction up against the Terrorblade Illusions, the teleporting onto the Enchantress Creeps. That could have been a very excellent pick here for NP. What shall it be, Faceless? They have to make the choice. You know, that's the one thing. We talk about the idea of maybe Black taking this Terrorblade into the mid lane. Whenever you have those options in the mid, it's so much better when your last pick, of course, because you don't want to... These odder heroes that go mid, like the TB, that was only ever picked really against Alchemist or something for a lot of the... Especially by NP, most notably, very high armor, he was great against it. And, well, they're going to go for it. It's a very fast one. Who needs high ground?
Takey hero, lot of armor there, but he doesn't necessarily know his mid matchup yet.
It's very scary. OD still in, but...
OD looks good here.
Yeah, OD looks good. Ember Spirit instead, big magic damage.
Again, though, they're kind of lacking the burst.
How do they push? Like, I mean, high ground wise, you know, like early game, we're gonna see the Bugatti strat coming out from AI. We're gonna see double siege unit running around, ticking towers, but how do you get the tier 3s? That will be the question.
That's a good point, though. Those catapults. We have to look for that again here because that was a lot of fun. But
yeah,
I guess it's going to be on Envy. He just needs to get humongous on this bristleback.
All right, gentlemen.
Oh, we have to do that thing, don't we?
You have to do that
thing.
thing.
Where we pick the teams.
That one thing.
Yeah.
Where your pride is on the line.
Let me go.
I'm gonna go with MP. They're my boys. No reason for this time.
No analysis, just heart.
I feel like the draft is actually quite even. They're both doing very different things. It feels like Faceless is going for much more late game, whereas MP is going much more tempo early game based. So it's hard to say, like, because if MP just wins the early game, they win. If they don't win the early game, then Faceless is definitely advantage. So definitely go either way. So my heart goes to MP.
I'm going to take NP, the Fada Ember, the Night Stalker. Thought it was an excellent pick. Taking them all away.
All right, well, I'm going to have to go against you two. I believe in Faceless. Philippines, make some hype for me. It's Game 3, Faceless, NP, and the dynamic duo of LD and Gods.
An exciting one, Gods. Winner of this faces EG tomorrow and has a shot then at Newbie in the grand finals. Both of these teams trying to find their path to TI, and the winner of this event almost certainly gets that invite, especially these two teams coming in as, you know, pretty competitive, if not tier 1, then like tier 1.5 teams with a chip on their shoulder. So who do you have?
It's tough. Jeez, LD, I didn't think you'd put me on the spot like that.
I gave you like a solid 15 seconds.
I didn't know where I was going. You know, it's late. My brain's not quite there. But you know, it's SEA, Faceless. I'm going to go with Cap and say I think they've got what it takes. It's going to be close. I like the drafts a lot better. I don't feel like there's going to be a snowball out of the laning stage as much as we saw last game. Perhaps NP slightly better lanes, but that's going to come down to AUI's rotations.
Yeah, AUI's rotations early, the Night Stalker movements a bit later on, and then the Emperor ganks as well. So they certainly have like a few heroes that can go around and set the tempo, but I go back to what Lumi was harping on the panel. This lineup is not very good at breaking the base, so even if they get ahead, I mean, I feel like they have to be 15, 20K gold ahead to feel confident. And, you know, they need to take that first lane of racks, ideally 30, 35 minutes in. You don't want this game going, you know, 50-plus minutes, 40-plus minutes. And normally that's not that unreasonable, but Faceless have so much spam, right? They have the Breathe Fire, the Illuminate. The Timber Saw alone can just wreck creep waves. Meanwhile, Terrorblade's great at split pushing, so... unless NP completely run away with the laning stage, I feel like they have less ways to win the game.
Yeah. Feels like Ice is going to be the key player for Faceless. I mean, as far as defending high ground, as far as doing well, getting farmed, I think if he has a rough game, Faceless are going to struggle here. DK is not a mid that you're expecting to win this matchup. He's not going to be able to do a whole lot. TB is also very slow-paced. farm-oriented, so Ice needs to keep heroes busy and occupied in this top lane.
Let's see if he can get the job done. Black taking up a different hero. He will be on the Dragon Knight mid. Certainly not known as a lane dominator, though, with the new Breathe Fire. Well, not new at this point, but the improved Breathe Fire, he's a bit more effective in the 1v1. So, really all about the Enchantress movements, like you mentioned. Where will AUI go?
Courier sniping. That's where he'll go.
What kills will he find? He's already got the ward down mid.
Not getting a salve, says the Dragon Knight. Black is like, this matchup's easy, I don't need a salve, and...
I mean, it's an Ember.
Yeah,
he's not afraid.
You don't need a salve. He's right on that.
He's got the passive regen, if required.
But
hasn't skilled anything just yet.
Yeah, if Fato starts harassing him a lot earlier, trading blows, then maybe we see the salve come out. Yeah, but for now it's not the case. So that Observer Ward is going to perhaps scout the courier with the bottle. The bottle snipe is the bigger one than the salve, actually. So we'll see if AUI is able to come back at the right time to pick that one off. DK without a bottle is going to struggle to farm in that lane.
Yeah, otherwise, looks like the mid lane should be relatively even, at least to start things off. Meanwhile, bottom, the movement comes as Nuts takes a bit of damage. Already that Metamorph being deployed. XY trying to get some damage in here. Only 3 CS so far. Slipping a little. Up against just the Night Stalker, unless the Enchantress is in the area, it should be able to farm relatively freely.
She is. Double shockwaves.
Heavy harass from AUI.
That's just round 1.
And that one auto attack ain't gonna really cut it.
XY
not taking the Void. He might be the first blood here at this rate. AUI letting the Hadoukens fly. They're so close to getting this kill. MSS, can he stay in range? The armor means the auto attacks might not be enough. He needs this Void to go. He doesn't have the vision. Good fogging, but MSS is tanky. He can afford to take this kind of punishment. Nuts, however, cannot. And now another round of Hadoukens. AUI scores not 1, but 2. If there were a third hero, he'd probably grab the triple.
Oh boy. The salve cancel. XY needed to just run fog before he popped that salve. I think he was going to live a little bit longer. He wasn't in like imminent danger where he needed to get that tiny bit of regen. He had to get more out of his salve and goes down there.
Not respecting the Satyrs.
That's some very fortunate creep selection from AUI.
At the same time,
favored him.
At the same time, you saw the Satyrs, and he posted up in the lane in a position where AUI could dive. So again, not enough respect given by XY.
Yeah.
Very avoidable death.
We'll see where things go from here. It's not easy to respond to this. They've got Jabs just helping out the top lane. Trying to make sure Ice has a good start. I talked about him being the key player. I don't mind this from Faceless, giving the Terrorblade a slightly tougher lane if it means Ice can excel.
So mid lane's a wash, both heroes freely farming. Bottom lane, a massive victory already for NP. And with that top lane, at least for now, it seems fairly even with the Bristleback and the Timber trading farm. No clear win anywhere for Faceless. So, I mean, it's not the best start in the laning stage, but certainly looking at their lineup, a lineup that can play a bit from behind. They've got good deep push, good farm, some tanky cores that can take risks on the map. Keeper Light who can keep the lane shoved out while they buy time. I think, if there's a lineup that wants to be in this position, Faceless's lineup certainly on the upper half of lineups that can handle it.
Yeah, it's not a complete disaster yet for them, but that's going to come down to perhaps this next Enchantress move. More shockwaves, and this time Chain Lightning's coming out.
Oh god.
This is a creep that's actually perhaps...
Just go home Nuts.
Yeah, this Chain Lightning creep is even better than the Satyr in some ways in the early game.
Twilight Die also making his mark felt as he's going to force Jabs all the way off the top lane. Has to TP home. Nicely done by him. Meanwhile, the stun wars raging on. Black really wanting a piece of this 4-minute rune, but no rune to be seen. That's actually a regen that spawned bottom. So much ado about nothing there. While meanwhile bottom, Nuts in danger. He's going to throw up the cast, but it's already nighttime. So MSS quickly claws through him, gets the kill, and now Fada charging towards Black. Might be able to bring him down. Indeed he will. AUI with the swipe brings in the Chain Lightning, and Black bites the dust. Man. AUI, every single game that NP wins this tournament has been with him dominating the laning stage, whether it's the tree, the Enchantress. I cannot think of a game where AUI didn't have a dominant laning stage that NP won, and he just continues to do it now.
There's a reason why teams have been banning out his Enchantress. Faceless managed to defeat it once, and they felt confident going up against it again here, but he has been incredibly effective in the first 5 minutes of this game, giving NP a 2,000 gold lead almost, just 5 minutes in. That is concerning.
So where does Faceless turn it around? Is there, I mean, do you see a move for them? I don't really see a great tempo control in this lineup. That is one of their weaknesses.
Yeah, all 3 cores just want to kind of stick in their lanes and farm. Their supports don't rotate. Witch Doctor Coddle, no Suri, no Maledict point. It was a level 2 Voodoo Restoration. Timber's not going to be anywhere.
You need like a Dragonite Blink or Shadow Blade, but that is going to take a while. So MP have a lot of time to make moves or just look to outfarm the opposition.
What we perhaps see is tower pressure from Faceless. What they can do is send the DK and Terrorblade to the same lane just to start pressuring towers. Once DK has ultimate, a few more levels, maybe his treads, Terrorblade. Once he gets like a Ring of Aquila, like he's being ganked again.
Oh, this is not the kind of start you want for your old TB, as he is going to get totally beaten down bottom. He will drop NP, grabbing another kill. And now a tower to boot, so yeah, where Faceless want to be pushing and dodging fights, NP are already doing both. They're taking the fights, and they're pushing very successfully.
AUI just doing so much damage with his neutrals, the shockwaves, the chain lightning, and
Black has a haste, and he is streaming towards top. He might just catch Envy. This is not a hero he can kill on his own, and the team is a bit far away to pursue, so a haste run that doesn't get a whole lot accomplished. Maybe they transition into a push. They're already evacuating the bottom lane. TB's going top. TB grouping up with the Dragonite at 6 minutes for a hard push. They're already down 3,000 gold. And I don't know if you can even argue this with this for Faceless. It's not like it's safe for him to farm bottom.
kind of have to, but MP also don't really need to defend this one necessarily. It feels like if they take the mid-tier one and just take over this Radiant jungle, they're okay giving up this top tower. It's not the biggest objective, and if anything, you just say, well, he just used Metamorphosis. Let's go take a fight after it's down. Let's go punish the fact it's on cooldown. And you also look at this TB, he's level 4. Going top to 3-4-man push at tier 1 is not getting him any levels. This is a hero that's going to be incredibly far behind in experience and gold.
Remnant forward as Fada lunges onto Black. Get him with the Thunder Strike, but Nuts lurks in the trees, keeping him safe. The other thing that it is worth pointing out for Faceless, they have pretty good spam even now, so that's where you can look for those trades. But bottom lane, Ice Ice Ice, beginning to be hounded. Fortunately for him, no impetus just yet for AUI.
This is getting quickly
out of control.
Yeah. Yep, AUI's like, all right, I'm done with my nuking creeps, time to get some siege creeps. Let's push some towers with this. He'll fall back and wait for the creep wave to group up with him. And yeah, this bottom tier 2 tower is donezo, it feels like. TB's not defending it, that's for sure. Your Witch Doctor's level 3. The experience right now is the biggest issue for this team. Only Timbersaw and DK are really where they're meant to be. The Coddle wasn't able to jungle and get any farm or levels. Everyone is behind.
Dire's middle tower is
It's
under
daytime now, so a little breathing room for Faceless. They'll certainly take what they can get. They've only lost the 1 tower as of yet. Trying to stabilize, make the most of this precious sunlight. Still no real items in sight. Yeah. Looking for Black perhaps to grab that tempo controlling item. Obviously, Terrorblade is not farming at this point. Timbersaw is going to need a lot of meat time. Even with the 45 CS, still a ways to go until he can really take over. And it's a tough Timbersaw game, Gods, no matter how farmed he gets. He has to worry about silences.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy for him just go running in. And the thing for the DK is there's not like any obvious amazing item for him. You get a Blink Dagger, you have no real good damage follow-up other than the Timbersaw, and perhaps not able to maybe combo with your stun. Your stun's also just level 1.
Fada. He sees a delicious Witch Doctor. Nuts will be chopped up.
Yep. Good use of the Invis Rune. Has a ward on himself as well. We'll put it up there. That gets scouted at least. God, when you've got a Radiant, you've got a defensive Radiant ward there at 9 minutes in, you know you're getting demolished.
Uh-oh. A little trouble here for Mr. Jabs, who did not realize that Fada had stuck around. Maybe losing sight of what's going on around the map. He will also fall. There's just nowhere to farm. There's nowhere to be safe. And just when you think the nighttime's over, MSS turns on the darkness, and things get very dark for Faceless again.
Plan here for Faceless is got to involve trying to either take a fight or take some towers at some point. Black is just continuing to chip at this mid lane, but this could be a bad idea for him.
He's going to get slowed down by Fada. Now MSS emerges. He's got a lot of armor. He doesn't have a lot of ability to deal with this magic damage coming out, but does get a good stun. This could potentially be the turnaround. The Maledict trap is sprung, and Fada charging in is going to end up dropping. Doesn't find the Black Kill. MSS will salvage that. Now on the way out, though, slowed down by the Terror Blade. Faceless seeing opportunity here. Would love this second kill. Not going to get it. Their most farmed hero bites the dust. Is Ice jumping in. Looks for Pylai Die. Doesn't quite have the firepower unless he hits another chain, but the angle isn't there. So they'll settle for zoning him away while they look for the tower push. But here, look at this, guys. The TPs are coming in. They're going to tap that shrine, bring the Bristle back in, and it'll be Envy's first dance. Almost forgot he was in this game. He enters the field of battle now. Revenant forward, and Fada will connect, bringing down Nuts, almost instantly deleted, and XY could well be next. Fada with that heavy magic damage can punish him. No Sunder available as of yet, so he will drop. XY down 2. Ice to fall as well, so NP just firing on all cylinders, up 12-1. And Knight even become 13-1 because Jabs is in a very precarious position right on top of a Dire Sentry. Fortunately, NP seem more interested in the tower for now, but that next nighttime is coming, so things are only going to get more difficult for Faceless from here.
Proving to be an incredibly good Ember game with how much he's been able to punish these under-leveled supports. They just constantly getting taken down. Fata has been in kill after kill for his team, and well, it's nighttime for a good 5 minutes or so now. As AUI has got the double siege creep. He wants to perhaps get aggressive. Bugatti strat is being called in. We'll see what he can do as far as pushing lanes out with these.
So there will, be, at least for the moment, be a lull. NP, do they just kind of settle down here, go back to getting those core items, you think?
I think they want to keep fighting. If anything, they're so much stronger. They got... I mean, the Vanguard almost there on Envy. The Ember is like ready to go. He's got 2k gold. He has a Blade Mail queued up, make it a bit of travel. He changes his mind. He doesn't need items. When you're this far ahead in terms of just experience, when you're playing a hero like Ember against a very disable lacking lineup, you can play aggressive even without. And yeah, they're just going to keep this bottom lane shoved. MSS, it's nighttime. He wants to press the advantage. You don't want to sit around and farm when you've got a nighttime to use.
XY struggling to approach creep waves at only 3.2k net worth. Well down in the charts. He is the 4th least farmed hero. But fortunately for him, I guess the creeps are at the base, so he might actually get some CS now. Yep. See a smoke out from NP. Surging over towards the western front. They might get ice here. That would be a very big kill, and indeed, he is caught. Static Storm committed, and he wastes no time in descending. And a Void will ensure it. MSS snags another. Big takedown for NP.
Finding some pickoffs. They're stacking Ancients as they did that. NP's got a nice little triple stack there waiting for him. And life getting more and more difficult for Faceless.
This team is really feeling like they have an identity now, as XY is going to also bite the dust. Fada comes back in just when you think it's safe to farm. You're wrong, Bubba. Nuts, meanwhile, getting glimpsed back. There's a jump forward by Black on the Dragon Knight. Does find the stun, but where's the follow-up? Do they have any sort of lockdown? He will get the kill on Pylai Die. However, Nuts is the price. Ice joining the fray. This could be the opening at long last. Perhaps Faceless can stack together kills. They make it 3-15. We'll need more of that. And again, the Terror Blade died another time. Like, even where that's technically maybe a numerical win, that an unfarmed TP is beyond useless. He's just a walking sack of gold.
When Kimber's getting 600 gold for that kill, you know you're far behind. The big streak ended on the Night Stalker, as he is going to be rushing a Yule Scepter just to deal with these silences on both the Night Stalker and the Disruptor. Being able to use yourself to get out, or even just to bide your time for the Static Storm to end.
Looks like NP might be congregating here mid, drawing some lines towards the Radiant jungle. Going for a big smoke play momentarily. Just in case it wasn't clear, they're all drawing lines now, as Jabs will just get soloed by AUI. They make their move. NP on the hunt. They get the glimpse back. Initiation onto XY, straight into the Static Storm and straight into almost certain doom. Will he make it out? it's not going to happen. Down he goes again. Another death for the Terrorblade, who can ill afford any more, let alone these repeated demises that he encounters. Black now dukes it out. Surrounded and being beaten down by 4. He's got the stick. He won't even get it off. NP swarm in and walk away with a couple of additional kills.
Yep. Not much stopping them from pressing forward here.
Radiant's
As
top tower
What a
is
romp
under
it's
attack.
been.
yeah, I mean, this is at this point more one-sided than what Game 2 was. We're just 15 minutes in, but
Radiant's
NP
top
have
tower has
dominated. Let's see where they head next.
Everything's going their way. Ice can't even TP out without problems, and he's about to encounter another one. MSS hunts forward. Does have the Void Silence combination, and he's going to fly his way right over the ravine. Very well played. Now locking down that Timber Saw and ensuring a likely eventual kill, though. He is pretty tanky at this point. Not the easiest, but the Void damage gets it done. Another takedown. The one hero that can dish out the damage as this game goes later is getting farmed. Is not, so... With Terrorblade struggling, with the Timber Saw dying, with the Dragon Knight, yeah, having 6k net worth, but still not feeling very impactful. This continues to look dark, bleak, miserable everywhere for Faceless.
Yeah, DK is doing fine this game, but he's being ignored, and a DK on his own is not scary. Like, even when he KB, he doesn't really do. This is not a carry that dishes out a ton of damage. His spells don't. His right clicks don't. It's just kind of that frontliner that normally is looking to enable his teammates, enable his cores, but those cores don't have farm, don't have items. TB is dirt poor. Timbersaw perhaps slightly more promising with him, but still definitely concerns about what he can do against the silence and the nukes that are coming out.
You do have to feel the pressure for Faceless, as this is likely their only opportunity to qualify directly or potentially get that invite for TI. But a nice snipe here starts things off right. Finally, Faceless get a clean initiation. Bafada answers back, immediately bringing down Ice Timber Saw into the picture, and MSS hunting. Jabs will push him back with the blinding light. They do have the armlet going on Black, but he can't deal with the aggression that AUI brings to the table. The snot stacks up, that nasty viscous nasal goo, and down he goes in a flurry of imps, trying to run from MSS. Nuts, praise for the best. But MSS has wings, and he's going to track him down through the trees. 3 more fall, 2 cores down again. Terrorblade just like, well, at least I can hit creeps for a little bit longer, but MP wastes no time in churning their way towards this tower mid.
Yeah, the initial kill in the Ember, at least not bad for them, but they give up so much in return.
Another opening. MSS, he's doing it again. Twilight dies there. Static Storm once more. Terrorblade, less than useless. Falling. I mean, how many times has he died at this point? 6 or something. Yeah, 6 deaths.
Not what you want to see in a Game 3 decider if you're a Faceless fan right now, and they've got a lot of work to do as far as playing for the late game, buying more time to get Terrorblade farm, to get Timbersaw up some additional items. He's got the Yule Scepter now. That's going to help him out a little bit, but ultimately still has to play very cautiously.
Guys, you're a creative player. Tell me about your support Terrorblade strats. Let's figure out how XY is going to contribute.
You know, you
this
get
game.
low HP, you Shadowblade in, you sunder an opponent, then you dig on them. But that's not really supporting. You got to farm those items.
Maybe gonna drop low here. Jabs could potentially help kill him off. Gets the blinding light. The Timber Chain through. Big commitment from Ice. He might get turned on though. Could be in danger against the Disruptor. You've got to be careful about these dives. And well, they've already lost Jabs. Ice in trouble. They're really forcing the issue. Faceless likely to lose another. That's 2 more down. Rack them up and knock them down. Faceless just keep on crumbling. NP more and more. It feels like their game to throw, their game to lose, and I don't know if they're going to, gods. They seem rather disciplined and very determined.
Yeah, NP's play this tournament has been very polished. Like you say, discipline has been the name of the game. When they've gotten these leads, they've very rarely done anything overly aggressive, thrown away. They had that one big turnaround against Secret, but that didn't really come from over-aggression. That came from just giving Secret too much space and too much time to catch up. This game, we'll see them go for Roche and limit what Faces can do. So hard to move out on the map against this vision. The Night Stalker is going to provide constant control as well. And they're already hunting, looking for kills at the top lane, but the Radiant Observer will it help? It won't.
Oh, mama, they might have gotten another.
Won't go for the kill.
There's still tier 2s to be claimed here. And again, not the best sieging lineup. Enchantress great early, doesn't quite deal with these tier 3s as effectively with the so-called Bugatti strat, but nonetheless, they have the bristle.
Your opponents have a sieging hero terribly. You just take his illusions.
Ah, there you go. So you're telling me that XY is not only going to feed kills to NP, but is soon going to feed them the implement of his own destruction.
Don't cast Conjure Image. There's definitely games where you're behind his PB, but like reflection can be really good at high ground defense. But this is not a game where there's many good reflection targets even. None of these heroes are particularly right-click heavy. And yeah, options are going to remain fairly limited. The Radiant's going to be Fatta's next purchase. It looks like he's got that one queued up for his Ember. Not going to have any good solutions. His magic damage output onto this Terrorblade is going to be brutal.
With an Emperor this far ahead, I don't even know if you can count on those illusions even much later in the game. It's going to be a long time before he's relevant. P is looking to push that tempo now as they throw the Bristle in front. They'll get to work on this tier 2, drop it quickly. Catapults, laying into it, and he swarms back in. And we'll take the tower too, so that is all but the one top outer tower gone now, with the Hurricane Pike picked up too for the Enchantress, making life difficult not only for the Timbersaw but also the DK. These are both heroes that rely on their plus armor. The pure damage imps ignore that, and now you're guaranteed to see those coming in a flurry with this big item. Third in net worth, AUI 2000 just continues to impress even after the lanes have ended.
Find out now just how NP go high ground, but ultimately they're in a scenario where it doesn't matter if they can't go high ground. You get this far ahead, you know that your opponents are stuck in their base, you're going to get further ahead. This 16k gold lead, 5 minutes from now, even if you don't break high ground with Aegis, might be like a 22k gold lead. It's just going to get worse and worse, uglier and uglier for Faceless unless they find a way to get something done. And I think that's something NP is just not going to present too many opportunities, so you've got to make your own opportunities.
That's not the opportunity that they're looking for. Fata is just going to delete nuts. Cracks them right open.
Anytime you move out, you expose yourself to the vision of NP, and those kind of kills will present themselves. Disruptor coming in from behind in this bottom lane will not find anyone, and Faceless just playing keep away.
You know, I think it's still safe at the fountain. I haven't seen any NP heroes there yet.
Not yet.
That might be a good place for Jabs and Nuts to hang out.
Yeah, it's...
I mean, but seriously, it's like you leave the base, you're dead. Yeah. And even the cores are not safe for long. Ice will try, but he gets silenced and reeled right back into the Disruptors. Waiting clutches, AUI 2000 there with the long range imp damage, blinking him down, finishing him off. MSS getting the last hit again. Nowhere safe.
Surprised he was able to walk out of that kinetic field. That was a bit odd, but guess it hasn't latched on yet. But Envy on the high ground as a result. No Timbersaw to worry about. Aegis in hand. He'll just slowly start chipping away at this. Looks like he's even going to buy a BKB from the
Envy,
shop.
That's not your base.
Yeah, you know,
it might as well be, though, for all Faceless can do about it.
There we go. BKB secured. Well, you said the fountain was safe. Envy is looking to question that, LB.
It's safe. He's only here to shop, guys.
When you can just walk there, buy an item.
That's like, all right, guys, call it GG. You have no hope, but Faceless, their best shot to get that TI invite, are not going to give it up without fighting to the bitter end. NP look to make that bitter end happen as quickly as possible. They will stun Envy here. Still, he's got a little bit of time left on the Aegis. Probably wants it to crack soon. The Quill stacking up, and about 40 seconds to go. Aegis down, Rax exposed. The lineup not known for their sieging potential at the high ground is so damn far ahead, they can do it anyway. Now working on the melee. Ice, lumbering in, but quickly losing about a third of his health, and he's probably their tankiest hero after Black. Well, they get to work on Envy. They do some decent damage. Mafata quick to charge forward, and support Terrorblade now goes down once more. The chase is in. That's a BKB up on MSS, by the way, at only 24 minutes on the off-lane Night Stalker, as he will find another kill. Racking him up. NP diving the fountain. That is probably the one way they can lose this game, is repeatedly diving the fountain.
Repeatedly being the keyword.
And they come close, but they're more NP than Cloud9 today. They will back down.
Back down. These early BKBs just mean the Timbersaw, the one hero that deals damage on the Faceless side, can't actually dish out any damage in these fights at all. Ember doesn't need one since he's so elusive. He can always get away from the Timbersaw, and result is things are looking rough. NP's Aegis no longer there, means they'll fall back, play the map control game a bit longer, take the shrines, play around their wards, play around the next nighttime. Potentially, if they really want, wait for another Aegis, but I don't think they even want to do that. They'll at least try and force Faceless back in their base. They don't want Faceless moving out of the map and picking up any farm.
And bear in mind, the winner of this has to play the first match tomorrow against EG, and should they win that, then a BO5, I believe, against Newbie. So it's a long day, and you want to get your sleep. Be no reason to drag this out more than necessary. So, I'll reset. They got that Radiance on Fada. And closes in now on his next item. Can start to build the Linkosphere if he so desires. Really, I mean, I don't know if any of these cores from NP will be killable, but certainly with Lincolns he gets tougher to take down.
Perhaps the Disruptor?
Oh yeah, that core
Kill that
Disruptor. We got him covered.
I mean, he looks like a core compared to some of the Faceless heroes.
Well, BKB from Black will TP out, and a fantastic debut for the Golden Boy.
Gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
Space created for XY. Still clawing his way back in farm.
Invisibility. I'll take that.
I mean, for Faceless, it is very much a waiting game. You do not win this game through making plays yourself anymore. You win this game by NP overextending, by NP fumbling their positioning when they're going for a high ground push. And
This is where you have Ice Ice Ice. You got to drop those items at the right time.
Bring him in, bait him in, find some
they
way
have
to throw him off.
the trump card, you know. Yep. And NP has fallen for it before.
Okay.
He has gotten punished by that man himself, Mr. Darryl, but perhaps he's also learned from those previous mistakes.
They left a Tango there. The bait's been set at top lane.
Ah, yes. Delicious Tangos. Even Night Stalker's got a Maelstrom, so even if the Terrorblade somehow gets farmed, there's a lot of tools to deal with them now.
Everyone, he's like, I'll become a carry myself too. Gets the attack speed, talent, and the strength. He's going like core-ish Night Stalker build. Recognizing that, similar to the Legion Commander game, they lack that building hit, so he'll just go for some extra building hit himself.
Ice getting forced back. Black being pursued heavily by MSS. Slows him down. Does manage to TP away, and
didn't have to BKB that one.
Yeah, TPs appear to be Faceless's best friend right now.
Yes. Big enemy come at you, let's TP on out. Will Faceless go for any kind of a jump?
Well, that Night Stalker's not very afraid.
It's very cute little way of getting high ground vision. You just pop that flying vision for a second, throw a nuke, and Faceless, well, have no choice but to scurry even further back into their own base.
Starting to put them more and more into a chokehold here as they converge, but still no sign that they want to commit to a next push. They are pretty close to some additional items here. The Enchantress Aghanim Scepter, only about one component away from purchasing it. The Lincoln's just now snagged up by the Ember. We already saw MSS, BKB, Mjolnir about to be complete.
The BKB AC is what I thought they would need to break high ground. They just got so far ahead that it didn't matter that Envy didn't have the AC yet. But the AC perhaps will be what they have for the next high ground push with the Aegis as well.
Jabs loses almost over half his health just from one chains. Still they're waiting, and I mean, like you said, I think just maybe that next item or two, or just an opening. Ice Ice could be the opening. No follow-up for this. MSS will pursue him back. Get back to your home. But won't find the kill.
Happy just to have Night Stalker running them a bit. Everyone else is farming. Their next core item come into the Ag's almost there for the Enchantress, so another 400 gold, and it's good to go. More than anything, though, it is, of course, the Roshan that is the big one for NP to have before they make a bold play. They are trying to punish that like aggression at the top. MSS is playing somewhat alone, but problem is no one's bottom. When there's this super creeps in your high ground in the bottom lane, no one's defending it. That's like a warning sign. Like, why is no one there defending? Shouldn't someone take this farm? Yes, super creeps don't give as much gold as regular ones, but it's still farm, and there is not much farm on the map Faces right now.
And still there's nobody defending, and they've already walked all the way to the Roche pit, but they're not going to find NP there. NP are playing this very safe. Slow rolling it entirely, getting free structural damage while farming and while wasting precious Faceless time and resources in the form of that smoke. Just no mistakes. It's been pretty much flawless Dota from NP.
Yeah, they are very polished this game. And Faceless will just have to buy their time now for another smoke or another high ground defense. That was their one move to try and go for that roast. They could go for another smoke, but this bottom lane is going to continue to plague them. And they do. They say, we've got to stop this roast from happening. We can't afford to give it up again.
NP aren't even doing it. For now, they're just kind of hanging out. Pushing in the bottom lane with the Ember Spirit, showing themselves mid. Faceless will wrap around, but the catapult is just whacking away at Black. He's actually going to get onto Envy, but Envy has the BKB. He activates it now. Black starting to take the imp damage. He could BKB, but this Enchantress is going to end him. AUI just basically soloing out the enemy Dragon Knight. Does manage to get off the stun just barely at that. They're going to push AUI back, try to deal with him, but oh, by the way, AUI is technically a support, though he's doing the damage of a core this game. You've got to worry about the Ember Spirit. You've got to worry about MSS on the Night Stalker, and you'd better damn well be afraid of NP because they are playing like a team that is a threat to go all the way on the final day. They now move in. 5 heroes dead, wiped the floor with Faceless in this game 2 and 3, and they have done it. It was pretty one-sided, gods, but you have to take your hat off. NP came to play.
I think that's what's really impressive with this team. They've gotten into the top 3, but they haven't had those like shaky, unconvincing victories that you sometimes see where it's like, oh, there was a threat that they might throw a lead. No, NP has been on point from start to finish. They've dominated the early game, they've had really strong lanes, and then they've been really good at closing out these games without giving any openings to their opponents.
And that is a painful loss for Faceless. So close, they finally took their first big BO3 win off a team that's not from Southeast Asia on LAN, and just not able to make it the final day. Had they done it, they have a shot at EG, maybe a shot at Newbie. Definitely showing some signs of life, but gods, this team doesn't have another LAN to perform at, so likely they're going to have to go through qualifiers if they want to get to TI.
Yeah, it's tough. You look at this on paper, it's like, oh, this is a good event for Faceless, and I think it was. I mean, you win a best of 3 against OG, they took down Clutch Gamers. Faceless had a good tournament, it's just not the great tournament that NP so far are having. They're in the top 3, they're playing great Dota, and we say goodbye to Faceless, but for NP, there is a bright future ahead for them tomorrow.
Well, it's our TZ versus Jackie Mao tomorrow. That should be a juicy showdown. Winner faces the big dogs, Newbie, who looked almost unstoppable in the bracket. So to wrap up the day and get us ready for the final day of the Manila Masters, it's back to Cap in the panel.
Thank you, LD. That's right. Team NP have qualified for the final day of the Manila Masters with a blisteringly fast pace. Game number 3. Trent and Luminous, you guys called it. NP smashed the hell out of that one.
Oh, Canada. They did it.
I mean, like I said, based on the draft, it was truly a 50-50. Either they were going to roll them early game or the late game of